Hello gamers, welcome back to the channel. Guys, we got a big lineup today, okay? It is probably the final stream that I'll be doing before any type of holiday break. And it is also the final stream of the Mario Party Fall 2025 CPU League. We have a big moment in the works. The next few hours are going to be very high stakes, high velocity, very intense gameplay incoming, okay? But I thought it would be good to kind of go back through and do a little recap so people who were not fully caught up with the season will know exactly how we got here. So I actually put together a little presentation today, and I wanted to look at the stats. And as it turns out, when you look at all four of the people playing in the match tonight, you get some very interesting stuff. And let me tell you, dude, what a crazy match we have, right? We have the number one seed, we have the fan favorite, we've got actually the alleged cheater, and then we have another fan favorite. I mean, it is going to be very interesting stuff. Now, if you didn't know, all of the information, including who won what match and what led them to today, is available in a spreadsheet. We have a command for it. I was going to update the website. Unfortunately, it ended up being a little bit out of the scope of what I was capable of this year, but I think honestly, even without the website, it has been a banger season, and I think it's been cool to see the fantasy team, or the fantasy league come together and to see people play in that, and that's been fun. And checking in on the fan clubs throughout the season during match week or match day has been a lot of fun as well. So, you know, I think this season has actually been pretty good. And we've had some crazy plays. I think Mario Party 4 Deluxe, especially the 2.0 update, it's been such a good thing. I was a little unsure about how it would go, you know, doing modded, or not modded, we don't use that word. Playing a new version of Mario Party. I was unsure how it would go. And it's been good. You know, I was worried maybe the minigames would get stale or the boards would suck. But honestly, seeing the performance of the minigames over the weeks and like kind of knowing what to expect going into them in a way has been kind of different. Because I used to explain every minigame because I assumed people wouldn't even know what was happening. But at this point, since the minigames are familiar and the boards are familiar, it just comes down to gameplay, and so we can actually focus on that. Which in a way, I think makes it more interesting, you know? We don't have to worry about the surface level explanations, like, here's how the minigame works. We can actually talk strategy and go in depth on it, which is fun. I personally think that's more fun. So, okay, so with all of that in mind, give me a second. I'm going to pull up some music to get us started, and then we are going to jump into the presentation. I don't want to run too late today. I would like to start, like I said yesterday, unfortunately I was a little bit late putting the thing together, but I would like to start as close to 7:30, which is literally right now, as we can. So we're going to do a short presentation, and then we're going to jump into the action. I don't want to be wasting any time here. So no dilly-dallying. Thank you, Rad Roach, by the way, for the 42. Appreciate that a lot. Let me boot this up here.
3, 2,
I don't know why the playlist starts with this countdown, but that's fine. Who's performing at the halftime show? Mariah Carey might be performing at halftime. What? Yeah, we really had to pull some strings for that one. But, you know. Okay. Thadvec, thank you very much for the resub. Okay, here we go, guys. I think I need maybe more hype music than this. Also, let me make this a little bigger. Guys, we're here. Let me change this. Even though this is not the right game series, I think it's better. I like that. Okay. We will be evaluating the GM statement after the finals preview to get some last minute snapshot opinions on how people feel going into the game. Okay? But first, guys, we've made it. It is the time grand finals of the Mario Party Fall 2025 CPU League. Now, I bet you might be asking yourself, what is at stake? And how is this whole thing gonna go? Don't worry, we've broken it down for you. So let's go through it, okay? Here is tonight's matchup featuring the players and the rules we're gonna be using. Okay? Here is the format. Let's go over that first. We are doing a randomly drawn board from the remaining playoff pool, which means if it showed up in playoffs at all, it's off the table. So that means no Bowser boards. I believe no Koopa Troopa board, and I don't remember the other board that we played on. I think it was the Toad board. Those are all off the table, meaning that all of the remaining ones are still eligible to be selected, okay? Moving on, we are going to be playing on Expert. These guys are the best of the best, and they are going to be reflected in their gameplay, okay? None of this easy mode nonsense. We are bringing out all the big guns. The contestants were informed of the rules, yes. Because this is unchanged from the playoffs. Except for the Expert. That's the only adjustment. Finally, we're doing a randomly drawn rule set. I was trying to figure out if we should have used the comp rule set or the chaos. But I like the idea that the chaos comes back one final time. Potentially, if it's drawn. So we're gonna see what we get tonight. It's gonna be a banger, one way or another. I'm excited for it. But that is the rules. That's how we're playing tonight. But now that we have the rules, who's playing in it? Well, if you've been keeping up, you probably already know. But if you have not, let's go over it. We have the #1 seed Donkey Kong. He is back one final time. Can he close out the perfect season? He was in first the entire season, every week. He won his playoff match, and now he's here for finals. Will he be able to complete the perfect run? We're gonna find out. Next up, we have Peach, who barely snuck by after a weak first half of the season. She's been picking up in momentum in the playoffs and in the late season. She's our #4 seed today. Third, we have Waluigi, the #5 seed. Just barely missed the cutoff to get the auto qualification to the semis. Had to make it through the LCQ. He's here in the finals. And finally, we have the Yoshman, a real interesting character. This guy, #8 seed, last place in the league, also moving into grand finals from the LCQ. Okay, but let's go into a little more detail and take a look at all of these players, just so you really know their strengths and their weaknesses and what they bring to the table and what to watch out for going into the game, okay? Our first player in the grand finals, Donkey Kong. He has been a very strong performer and brought in 2 wins in the 6-week regular season. So he won a third of his games, and he won his playoff game. He had an average placement of 2.2 in the regular season, which is really good. He had the league record for total number of stars earned at the end of a game at 26. He was second in the league with ending coins at 403 total. And he also had the league record for total points per game on average at 725. He also, in the fantasy league, which is separate from the official league, averaged the highest number of fantasy points as well. And on top of that, he ended the regular season in first. This guy has been an absolute masterclass in Mario Party gameplay. And he has one more match ahead of him to close out an otherwise flawless season. And look, if we look at his postseason path, he played one game because he auto-qualified, and he won it. Now, here's a little information that you might actually not know about this guy, okay? This is taken directly from the game itself, okay? And I actually didn't go over these during the regular season, so this might be new information to all of you, but we have the player bios of all 4 players. So he is known for using the reverse shroom, and he is said to be the strongest Mario Party 4 Deluxe player, and I think he's proved that. This is the official player bio. This is not written by me. We're getting this from the source, okay? So, DK, I mean, all signs are pointing towards him. I mean, league record, first, second. Like, I mean, how do you beat that? Moving on. Our next player in the finals is Princess Peach. Now, Peach did a few crazy things in her own right. Let's take a look. So she had... Oh, wait, actually, that stat is wrong. I forgot to change that, I believe. That stat's actually wrong. We'll get our stats people on that. That's actually a 3. And what you need to know about Peach, this was one of her big stats. She had the highest number of wins in the regular season. That stat is wrong. That's my bad. That's on me for not getting the slide updated. But no one had as many wins in the regular season as Peach did. And because of that, she had the league record for lowest or highest, I guess, average placement, averaging first or better across all 6 of the games. A crazy stat. Those are both records for her. But, you know, despite that, she sold 3 less stars than DK. Really did not have a lot of ending coins. And, I mean, most of her other stats are pretty mid. However, she was also a threat in fantasy, where she came in 2nd from average fantasy points per game. But because she was kind of middle of the road, she ended middle of the road. However, if you look at her postseason results, it's a different story. She only had to play 1 game, and she did make it through because she dodged the LCQ. But it was a very close game. She's coming in at 2nd, but she's got a lot of momentum behind her. And she's, I think, the only player still that has a manager. So, the Fantasy League points, I cannot fully give you the rundown on because I did not run the Fantasy League. But if you want more information on that, it was ran by Dream Archer. He has like a spreadsheet with all the info on that on the Discord. Fantasy points were made up of more than just stars, placement, and coins. They consisted of also landing on blue spaces. You lost points if you landed on red spaces. And I think happening spaces were worth something as well. So it was, you know, it involved their space count too, which we didn't bother with, but. Now, if we look at the Peach bio, it's very interesting. She is described in the player bio as slightly cruel. And she is known for stealing other players' items. So, that's what we have to look out for Princess Peach tonight. I do feel the mouse, where I felt it until mine went away. So, you know, maybe she will feed off of everyone's hatred of her in the match tonight. I don't know. Moving on, we have Waluigi. And you might think this guy's probably the least spectacular of the bunch, because if you look at his stats here, you know, he has very middling numbers, you know, no crazy stuff. I believe, let me double check this really quick. I believe this might be a blunder. I forgot to update this. This is incorrect. He actually only had 23. So disregard that stat line. We got a little confused in the stat room. I'm gonna fire those guys after this. They're getting fired. But he had 23, not 26. That's not a league record. Okay. Yeah, he's getting fired after this. But he has pretty middle of the line stats. You see, other than the league record, which shouldn't even be there, he has not really been known for anything this season. However, there is one thing that he is known for, and he gets a special stat for this. He set the record for the highest number of stars collected in a single game, which he did very recently in the postseason, where he got 9. So, look, he has very high highs, and if he comes out and plays tonight, we could see that happen again. I'm not gonna say it's impossible. 9 stars in a game is insane. And here's how he got here. He got 2nd in the LCQ, which allowed him to go on to the semis, and he won his game. So, here's his bio. He's a jerk. He's only here to annoy people and doesn't care about winning. He has to be messing with other players every turn. The bets will open soon enough. That's his bio, by the way. I didn't write that. But okay, now here's a crazy stat. You want to see a crazy stat? Let's go over it. Our final player, the one that you guys have probably been waiting for, we've got Yoshi, of course. Now take a look at this guy, because I didn't realize how crazy this was until I started looking at the stats. Yoshi had 0 wins in the regular season, a league worst. He had the lowest average placement of 3.7, another league worst. He had the lowest number of total stars, a league worst. He had the lowest number of regular season points per game, another league worst. He actually wasn't the lowest in fantasy, though. I think that was Mario. And he ended in last. If you look at the stat line here, there's no reason this guy should even be here.
Let's go, Yoshi.
There's no reason he should be here. And just to go into detail, he won the LCQ and got second in his semifinals match to just barely squeeze through. But the LCQ game was where the Cinderella story began, because if you missed the LCQ, in order to give the higher seeded players an easier time of making it through to the semifinals, we gave them a huge star handicap. Since Yoshi was in last, he had 0 stars at the beginning of the game. Literally none. This much. But he overcame a 6-star starting deficit. I want to put that into terms for everyone. Waluigi started that game with 6 stars. Yoshi started with 0, and Yoshi won the game. That's how crazy of a performance he put on in the LCQ. So this guy has really no reason to win. Will he do it anyways? We're gonna find out. And of course, we gotta get his bio here. So the Yoshi bio is: the all-or-nothing Yoshi loves leaving things up to chance and advancing very fast. So he's a speed demon, and he loves making content plays. We'll see if he does that today. And so, yeah, I mean, that is largely it. Let me go ahead and fix these slides really quick just to give you the correct stats here. I believe it should be like this. There we go. So just in case you missed it, here's the actual fixed stats. Peach, the one thing you might need to remember about everyone is DK, #1 in pretty much everything. Peach had the highest number of regular season wins and the lowest placement, which is good. Lower's better. So very consistently high performing player. Waluigi had the highest peak. He got 9 games in a single, or 9 stars in a single game, which no one else did. And then Yoshi, who should never have even made it this far. So there you have it. But with all that in mind, it's time we move on. It's okay, I'm about to change scenes. The bottom text doesn't matter anyways, but you're right, I should have updated that. If you're planning on doing a parlay on this match, I hear there's a crazy combo going on with that. Alright, we're changing the scene. Okay. So... there's not actually a parlay. No one's betting on this, I don't think. I feel like that would be illegal. That would be illegal. Okay, hold up. Let me get my dolphin booted up. I mean, my real console. So before we can start the game, because we are randomizing the rule set specifically, we do have to draw. So we're bringing back the bowls one final time. I'm gonna give this a shake. One of these will be irrelevant, and I don't know which one because we're not rolling for difficulty today. That's on expert. Everything else is still up in there. Okay, this is actually for difficulty, so this one doesn't matter. Okay. Actually doing it now. Here we go. All right. We have made our selection here. And we are playing on the Chaos rule set for the Grand Finals match. Full RNG, send it. So now the follow-up question is, what board are we playing? There's only a few left. I have drawn our board for tonight. And tonight we're playing on Toad! The selection has been made. We have to play it out. If I had to play the garbage Bowser board last week, we're playing this today. It is what it is. Now, I do want to say, I was going to check in on this. So I get the game booted up here. Let me do that right now. Make sure I'm on the right patch. I think this is the right one. No, this is the right one. Here we go. Okay, so as we're getting the game booted up, had to plug my controller back in. The MPSN has put out the odds of this game at 32% DK, 26% Peach. Waluigi at 20. Why is Waluigi so low? Don't worry, the game will appear in a second. Just give it a minute. There it is. Okay, so as we're getting everything set up, I want to do a quick pulse check on all of the different clubs. The Yoshlings have been surging tonight. A lot of activity here. I think there's a huge rush of support coming out of Team Yoshi. They want to make it happen. They want to complete the Cinderella story. Meanwhile, in the Waluigi fan club, apparently the general manager of the Peaches Bowl Club is going into the Waluigi Club and sending Egyptian curses. I don't know how I feel about that. Banana Forks, thanks for the 66. Welcome back. A little bit of drama in the clubs right now. We have a GM coming in from Peaches. Wait a minute. So a couple of updates here. First of all, on the 15th, so 5 days ago, we had a message that apparently Peach is feeling under the weather and was slightly ill. But they're going to do whatever it takes to get the princess ready to go by the weekend, and it's a day-by-day evaluation. Then we have a follow-up that says, I regret to inform you that our contestant, Princess Peach, is still feeling under the weather and is not back to 100%. She's been struggling with an illness all week, but that will not stop her. Tonight is the night and she will be victorious. Cheer on our princess loud and proud tonight as we will win this. Official message from General Manager Dowfire for the Peaches Ball Club. Very interesting stuff coming out of them. Okay, well, it's getting a little interesting here.
No.
Who else do I need to check in on? Oh, the congregation. They haven't even said much other than getting cursed by the Peach GM because I feel like they don't even need to. The last message there, other than the Egyptian curse, just said on to Grands easy. So the DK Ball Club is maybe a little overconfident. We'll see. Fox Chat, thanks for the 22. Welcome back. Okay, I mean, here we are, guys. We've made it. Grand Finals. Let's do it up. Number 1 seed DK in the P1 slot. Peach, number 4 seed in the P2 slot. We have Yoshi in the P3 today. And Waluigi in the P4. We are playing on the Toad board. 50 turn banger incoming. I'm drinking a cherry Coke Zero, by the way. Alright, settings are good, so here's what we're gonna do, guys. I'm gonna open up the predictions. We're gonna run an ad, and I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'm gonna be away for like 2 to 3 minutes, and I encourage everyone else to do the same, because it is the last break that we're gonna get before we jump into this match, alright?
Spike the pred odds.
So, let me actually put the hype music on. I think it's good to have this on in the background while the ads are running. Thank you very much, Pelindran, for the 2 years. I am curious to see how the predictions look tonight, for sure. All right, I'm booting it up. If you were here for the pregame presentation, let that information aid in you making a decision tonight. I'm not going to tell you who to bet on, but I just want you to know that information is out there and is publicly available. And if you just want to bet based on the vibes, go for it. But you have to understand what's at stake here. 30-minute prediction. Booting it up now. I'm going to run the ads. I'll be right back. Final ad break before we jump into this match. See you in a minute. I am back. Am I changing into the fursuit? No, sorry, that was out of the budget this year. That's outside of the scope of what we had in budget for the league this year. Maybe next year. All right, ads have 20 seconds to go. Once the ads are done, we begin. How many subs? Do you want to know actually how many? Let me do some math. Like 1,500. Minimum. This year, I wanted to update it. It was a little bit outside of the scope. I'll try to bring it back next year, but I had too much on my plate this year. So we were doing it all through the Google Sheet. Check the sheet for information. Okay, ads are done, which means let's get this show on the road. Give me a second. No, I don't have a fursuit, dude. Those things are too expensive. Okay, Grand Finals begins now. All right, so taking a little check at the predictions, because I feel like people can say they support one person, but you really see where the support comes out in the form of where they put their wallet. And if we look at the Shud Coin investment, 37% of the over 1 million Shud Coin in the pool is on DK. The hard favorite here for sure. But weirdly enough, 24% is on Peach, 23% is on Yoshi, and only 15% on Waluigi, who honestly, I would say probably has a better chance of winning than Yoshi. But I guess we'll see where the Shud Coin lies in a little bit, shall we? The wallet never lies, dude. We are playing on Toad's Midway Madness. Fully randomized items, by the way. Anything goes tonight. Literally anything goes, okay? We have expert computers, Toad's Midway Madness, fully randomized shops, fully randomized item spaces, and actually a code added to add additional item spaces for a boost in chaos. Now, I assume we might have a couple of first-time watchers today, so I will take a little bit of time to explain this board at the beginning. Now, the gimmick of this board and the reason why it's fairly unpopular is that you really don't have a lot of agency when you're navigating it. As you see, DK was forced into this bottom right loop, whereas Yoshi got to go to the left. The reason is because of the teacups. You'll see they have an arrow pointing a direction, and after someone rides on them and goes that direction, then the arrow will switch, and the players do not get to choose the way they want to go, which makes it very difficult in certain situations to get what you need or where you want to go. And I think for that reason alone, this board is seen fairly unfavorably, but I think playing it as a grand finals match is actually fine because it forces the people that are playing in the match tonight to be resourceful and adaptive to their situation. You know, I made the wrong bet. I cannot refund your prediction. You have to live with your consequences of your action now, man. Now I'm feeling a little unsure about the Peach Commissioner. Huge scandal coming out. The alleged GM of Peaches putting money on DK in the match. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like there's a little fishy business here. If there was a... So there was like in case you missed it, there was an announcement made 5 days ago by the Peaches GM stating that she was under the weather, but they were going to try to get her ready for the match. There was another statement made a few hours ago before this match that's beginning right now with our first minigame that has said that Peach is still not better. So Peach is actually playing at less than 100% tonight. And you have to wonder, and look at this, the triple kill from DK to win minigame 1. I'm beginning to wonder if there was a little foul play within the club. Did the commissioner potentially poison or make Princess Peach ill in order to put a lot of money on DK and win a huge payout? I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll never know. It's too late for me to go and do an investigation. But if that is true, that is a mega scandal. It's a mega scandal. Insider trading. A little insane. A little insanity to start us off tonight, for sure. This is not the last stream of 2025, no. We are playing on fully randomized items tonight. You think I have the money to take off for the rest of the year? No, no way. We out here grinding. I might even stream tomorrow. I probably won't stream tomorrow. But I will probably stream before the end of the year. Axe Kicks, thanks for the 23.
Overconfident so we don't notice Peaches cheating.
We'll see how it plays out, but that is something we'll definitely need to keep in mind. Here we go. So, burning the Gad Brush early. The Gad Brush, a new item to Mario Party 4 Deluxe. And wait for it. Looks like it's going to be an item clone onto DK, maybe wanting the golden from Yoshman. Not gonna get it. I mean, the Mini Mega Hammer, honestly, a pretty low tier item, but it can be useful early, I suppose. Did I get my flight taken care of? I called my mom today. She's still not feeling very well. And I told her I don't want to book a ticket until I know for sure because I really don't want to go there and get sick and then miss GDQ. It's not going to be an issue with availability on the flights, fortunately, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to call tomorrow and check in again and then see what happens. So I don't have a flight. I mean, I have a flight for tomorrow, but I'm not going to take that flight. I have to get a second flight, which will be probably $400-ish if I want to go on like the 23rd or 24th. Because my ticket is non-refundable. Not good. Okay, here we go. We're starting off with a coin minigame. Yoshi, the solo player up top. What do we got? 9, 10, 11, 12. Yoshi running up the number here. Getting a coin minigame that is very solo player dominant this early in the game could be a momentum shift to propel early, to propel Yoshi ahead early. And look at that, 27-10, a mega gap. Going in the pocket of the Yoshman here early on. And Yoshi's definitely going to be benefiting a lot from that. His coin count looking very low there. Actually, still not enough to move him up into first, but sitting pretty comfortably in a top 2 spot. Because of the mini mega hammer, weirdly enough, from Waluigi, it enables Yoshi to play this mini game, which he wouldn't normally get to play, so I really don't know what the decision or the thought process was from Waluigi to allow Yoshi to essentially get an item for free here. I mean, it's going to be the Zap Trap going in the pocket of Yoshi. Not a bad item. I'll talk more about my holiday situation during the ad break, guys, okay? It's a bit of a mess. Literal nightmare scenario, if I'm being completely honest with you. Okay, DK, Mega Roll 9 coming in here. DK, interestingly enough, and Waluigi both burning this block early. I guess prioritizing the early map movement. I feel like going to a shop is always going to be good on this rule set because since things are fully randomized, it means that there is going to be, always value in visiting the shop, even if you're in first, because you can still pull a Wacky Watch, you can pull a lamp, you can pull a Boost Crystal Ball. It's all available. Nothing is off the table here. And Peach also now going to be making her way over to the shop, likely. We'll see if she gets anything. And the double star card, a very strong item, was in the shop, but a little out of her budget right now. Is going to go for the cellular shopper instead. Well, every year, guys, you want to know something about my holiday plans? There is a bit of a disaster every year. Last year, I got stuck in the bedroom for 8 hours because the door got wedged and I couldn't open it, and we had to kick the door in. There was a year I got stranded at a random church, and because I got kicked out of my sister's car. And now everyone has the flu. Except for me. So, I mean, there's always something. Alright, here we go. We've got another minigame going on. It's a 1v3 coming in. Princess Peach, the solo here, doing a pretty good job of dodging. Got a hit early, but has since stayed fairly healthy. It's already not a normal family holiday because I believe one of my brother-in-law's family members has some pretty serious things going on, and all of my family, except for me, has the flu. So it's already kind of cooked. Princess Peach, nice dodging there. Will survive. Okay, and my sister. And my sister. Somehow, through a miracle. Superior genes. Dude, that's crazy. Alright, Yoshi coming in with the Mega Roller here. Look at this. Oh, a juicer! 26 early on here is really gonna not amount to much, but what an insane roll here. We have a mini mega hammer coming out of DK. Using it on a Waluigi, I feel like at this point in the game, guys, this is a grand finals match. The nerves are at an all-time high, and you might be asking yourself, why are the players making these moves? And I think the reality of the scenario here is that they know that this is a long match. We got a 50-turn banger. We are in no rush in the early game, okay? Get the jitters out. Maybe spam a few items. Warm yourself up. Get used to the idea of being on the field again. And then lock in. Because right now, it's pretty low stakes. Right? There's no stars in play. The highest number of coins anyone has is 34. And there's no crazy items in play either. So everyone's just kind of, you know, they're getting the phalanges fresh. They're warming up. They're moving around the board. They're getting the blood flowing. And they're just trying to maybe get themselves a decent starting inventory or something along those lines. This just in from Birdo Investigations. Doubtfire was almost subbed in Daisy for Princess Peach for the final match today. Is this true? This is known as fake news. Wow. The controversy runs deep. What a crazy controversy. Keep me updated. Waluigi, the solo player this time in the 1v3. We have yet to see a solo win, and we are not going to start tonight. Waluigi running straight into that, making quick work of the solo, and we've got ourselves a 1v3 on our hands here. Yoshi, DK, Peach, currently all fairly high up in money amount. The cash stack looking pretty decent early. It is going to be Waluigi falling behind a bit. Just to give you an early turn check, we're on 5 of 50. A long match out of us still. But we are moving. Yoshi currently sitting in first, but literally by a single coin. DK very hot on his tails, both in game and also in money amount, as we've got a fleet coming out from Waluigi. Waluigi, I guess, deciding he's not happy with that early star location, wants something a little more accessible. And we will see where that ends up materializing at. Reminder, there are no more league points or anything. The winner of this match is the winner of the league. This is the grand finals game. Winner takes all. I am doing much better, Metasura. Yeah, for sure. Thank you for checking, though, dude. I still have some stuff I'm working through, but I'm feeling much better compared to where I was at before. And there it is, the dueling sword. The dueling sword, a brand new item, not only in Mario Party 4 Deluxe, but in Mario Party 4 Deluxe version 2.0. It enables Waluigi to trigger a duel for stars if he wants at any point. Speaking of high-value items, so Princess Peach picking up the hidden block card from the cellular shopper. A great purchase by her, honestly. And that could allow her to have our first star of the night if she gets lucky. And wait a minute. Now another adjustment in version 2.0 is that if you win a 3 from the lottery, you get an item bag. Now, the item bag item is an item bag that lets you get an item bag. So she does not get the items from the bag immediately. She gets the item bag itself, which she can choose to win or use whenever she wants. It is a brand new addition as well in version 2.0. Princess Peach does make it to the star. Yeah, dude, I mean, I need the assists. Dude, I don't know how every holiday season there's some crap going on, but there's always something happening. I get stuck in a room. I get left at a church and I get stranded in a bathroom, like hungover because I'm about to vomit. Like, I don't know how these things happen, man. I have bad luck around the holidays, I guess. It's a long story. It's okay, though. I've made it out of every scenario so far. I'm still alive. Thank you, by the way, for the 30. Woodster, the TTS, I think, is broken. I'll try to run it again in a second. Low-key, my brother-in-law does come in for the assist, though. Dude, he's 2 for 2 on assists every holidays. gonna rerun this. Where do I do it? Can I run it here? Wait, do we have cutoff on the Gamba? 10 minutes still to go on the Gamba. Dude, I think TTS Monster might be down. I might have to run that in like a couple of minutes. Remind me. Thank you for the resub, by the way, Woodster. I'm sorry that it's a little scammed right now. TTS Monster, great service. I say that sarcastically because I pay them money per month to use it, and then it breaks. There will be a story, dude. There's always a story. Let me run it again one final time. I reset TTS Monster. It might be broken. If it's broken, we'll just have to play it later. I'm sorry. By the way, DK, picking up the Boost Crystal Ball. Don't want to glance over that. A great item to have, but I think almost a little premature. Here we go, Princess Peach. Does she get the star? No! She does not. Princess Peach, her luck not looking too great early on here. You'd think she would maybe get that guaranteed star given her previous luck, but weirdly enough, she's gonna buy a skeleton key, which is gonna dilute the available items that she could get with the item bag item. Very interesting. I don't know if I agree with the play there that Princess Peach made, but as we did hear from the GM of Peaches, the Peach Ball Club, she is apparently under the weather and not playing at 100% today, so that could maybe be affecting it. Alright, here we go. By the way, I just have to remind you every time this minigame comes up, we're playing on Master Mode computers. Or, I think Expert's the name of it, but Expert Mode, everybody. There it is. Shoutouts. And of course, it's a win for DK. Which emo would win a game of Mario Party? For sure, Glorp. Or maybe Joel. Could be Joel. Yoshi with the warp play, moves a whole 2 spaces. Banger move there by him. Jermaine is not tenured yet, he's too new. He's gotta earn his place, man. Yoshi, not winning anything, but if you are a Yoshi fan, looking decent so far in the early game. Currently sitting in first. I don't know, and I don't expect it to remain, but oh! He's picked up the orb! The mystery orb. You don't know what that item is until you use it. A crazy item to have. And look at this! This guy's, speaking of orb, this guy's double orbing it right now with the dual boost crystal ball. DK's inventory looking very dangerous. Here we go, Peach with the item bag. A bit of a blunder here, burning a slot with the skeleton key, but it's okay. She gets herself a cellular shopper, but instead opting to go for the poison shroom bunch. Not really know how I don't really know how I feel about that play. I mean, I think it's fine. It's a decent play, but I don't really know if there is a lot of value in it. You'd think you'd want to save something like that for a specific moment. And we've got ourselves another 1v3 on our hands here. This time, the onus is on Waluigi to clutch up and win the solo. Letting in too early here, 30 seconds on the clock. Waluigi, maybe not the proper build to be in the goal here, having a very difficult time. You know, the soccer balls are just going to the side. They're going between his legs. I mean, he's just having a really hard time shutting him down. And look at this. Only one remaining goal allowed. Almost 10 seconds to go, but the defense actually coming in. But it's Yoshi with 3 seconds on the clock. Managing to sneak one past him, which will make for a DK Peach Yoshi win. There it is. All I can tell you is that DK, who is known for being the strongest player, and the random item code that is active in this match have no association with one another, and it is pure coincidence. Waluigi still holding on to the dueling item. Does not want to be burning those swords early here. Yeah. 8 out of 50 at the moment. Peach again with the cellular shopper. Oh, it's a prank call. She said, I don't actually want to use that. And then immediately hung up, didn't even bother to use the phone, threw it away. Honestly, just chunked it onto the ground there. Interesting choice. But look at this. She's won another item bag. Interesting choice by Peach to burn that before winning another item bag. You know, it begins to make you wonder when you see plays like that, what are her intentions? Again, look at this. Burns the item, gets rid of the skeleton key, and secures the star. Princess Peach, first to strike here tonight. And we've got ourselves a game. Peach on the board. First star of the night in grand finals. Goes to her. Taking a look at the predictions here. We've got about 5 minutes to go, a little under. I think it's about 4 minutes actually. A huge pot. We have nearly 4 million Shud coin. By far the largest bet. In fact, we have at least one person betting the max amount on DK, Peach, and Yoshi. And even Waluigi, who does not have a max bet, has 105k bet by a single person as well. So, huge bets coming in tonight. And we're moving on to slime time, everybody. Slime time. Interesting game where you have to escape the cube. It's not actually a cube, but I like to call it that. DK making quick work of it. Look at that. One and done. I know it's not a cube, but I like the deadlock reference. Where it is the cube. DK victory means that he now has enough for... Oh, wait, but look at this. All of these are high-value items. So literally, he could not get a bad one. He either gets the dueling item, the item bag item, or a boost crystal ball, and he chose the bag there. Interesting choice by Yoshi. And of course, he's going for the content play, picking up a warp block, which does take you to a random location. His favorite move. But a bit of an int here, because look at this. By buying that, he now does not have the funds to go for the star steal. So he's going to have to instead use a coin steal, but he steals it onto DK, which is very fascinating because now DK will not have enough to star steal either. Because what this turn was likely going to look like is DK uses one of his items and he steals a star. And then Yoshi could have actually done it first, but he didn't for some reason. And so that is kind of, in a weird way, providing Peach at least another turn or two of protection. DK is going to hold on to the boost crystal ball, though, because, I mean, these are expert tier computers. I have not seen any of these accusations. The only things that I've been seeing have been coming from the Peach Ball Club. I've seen nothing in reference to Yoshi himself. Hello, Snorlack. It's me, Rayfire. Princess Peach. Gonna be losing a couple of coins there. It is not my business what the players do when we are not in session, as long as they are not taking performance-enhancing substances, which we do test them for, by the way, and he's come back clean every time. So if he's doing something outside of the testing window, I can't do anything about that. I'm not his mom. By the way, 1 minute on the predictions. Get your bets in. By the time this minigame is over, the bets will be closed. We are not, it is in the rule book that we are not able to do mid-match drug tests The players were tested prior to the match beginning and all found to be clean, meaning that the match will continue as expected. This is public information available in the rulebook that if you had read properly, you would know already. Princess Peach and DK taking a win there. 6 seconds on the bets. 1 million points on DK alone. DK getting over 1 million. Yoshi, look at this, man. A very powerful item set. And he gets another happening. Yoshi with the early happening space stacking. Playing for bonus here. So that is going to be DK losing an orb after Yoshi collects another plunder. So Yoshi now with an orb of his own, as well as the item bag. Still in pocket. Oh, but DK with the double star card purchase. Now this item, if you have never seen it before, allows the players to get a buy one, get one free deal. 2 stars for the price of 20 rather than just a single. And these items that we are seeing everyone having are very scary. I mean, we've got the duel game, we've got Boost Crystal Ball, we have the double star card, another Boost Crystal Ball. But Waluigi, the second to strike here, will be getting a star of his own. Now, I would say Waluigi is not necessarily a dark horse to win this. I would say he's probably, if we were putting bets on it, in the bottom 2 in terms of expected performance. There's a lot of hype around DK and Peach, and Yoshi, of course. People want him to win, but I think Waluigi has played a very stable season. He's not been super spectacular. However, he is peaking at the right moment, because he did set his one league record was that he got 9 stars in a single game, the highest out of everyone during this season. And he did it in the playoffs. He did it in the postseason. So he's hot right now. I think the real dark horse here is actually Yoshi. Yoshi has no reason to win. He was last place in pretty much every stat line we looked at, and it is sheer luck that he is here in the first place. He might be a favorite of the fans, but he has no right winning the game tonight. Oh, and Peach with the item bag here pulls the lamp. A lamp from the bag means that we are going to see a second Peach star early here. We're moving on to our next minigame, a 2v2. I would say this is probably a fan favorite of the chat. They love playing this game and discussing the orange juice and hot dog and how it is not a hot dog and it's actually a corn dog. Some people referring to the orange juice as soup or maybe a shake of sorts. And wow, look at that, the frame perfect synchronization of the red team there. They both were ready to go on that. These guys are locked in today. We did add in a Blarby emote in advance for tonight's stream. I don't know if we're gonna get a Blarby sighting, but there's a side bet running for that. Will Blarby appear? I don't know. Wow, I mean, they had that one good round, Yoshi and Peach, but it's DK and Waluigi with their consistently solid performance walking away with a victory here. New odds from the MPSN as of turn 10. DK 22%, Peach 27%, Waluigi 24%, Yoshi 25%. Oh, it seems like the MPSN showing a fairly even game so far. We'll see how this turn shakes things up. There might be a McDog sighting. He might be the halftime performance. Waluigi stepping up to the plate here, collecting himself a lotto ticket. And I would say, you know, I'm just the commissioner and the commentator. I don't really have a stake in the race here, but I feel like paying 5 coins for a chance at a star later on in the game is a good investment. And so it almost doesn't matter if you lose the lottery. If it's your first time going, you gotta go for it. Because the potential payoff is huge and the amount that you sacrifice is so little. But you know what? He's not sacrificing a star. He's grabbing one right now. There it is. Waluigi, star number 2. Actually jumping the gun and beating Peach to 2 stars before she's able to use that lamp. But Waluigi with a crazy pace here. Going into turn 11. Pretty strong opening 10 turns for Waluigi. Princess Peach looking good as well. And we're gonna maybe get our first Genie appearance of tonight. We'll have to check in on the Genie haters later and see how they feel about that. A turn 11 Genie is pretty early. And there it is, Princess Peach grabbing herself a 2nd star as well. So now 0-0-2-2 the split. And look, I don't want to put panic in the hearts of DK or Yoshi fans, because you have to understand we're only on turn 11 of 50. Okay, we are not even a quarter of the way through the game yet. But if you are one of those players, you gotta start thinking about your next move. And I think they already are. You can see they both have the boost crystal ball in inventory. Yoshi's got the item bag. DK has the 2x star card. So they are prepared moving forward, but those items mean very little until they can actually capitalize and convert, you know? And let's see how DK and Yoshi, speaking of that, do together here on Dungeon Duos. This is going to be an interesting one because there is another side bet parlay going on for whether or not we will get an extra jump on from the players on Dungeon Duos, and if yes, how many times it will happen throughout tonight. And okay, we got 1, so that's 1 to the counter from Waluigi coming in. Didn't get 1 from Yoshi this time. And it's basically neck and neck. It always comes down to the RNG section. The question is, will people be able to find the right pipe in a reasonable amount of time? So far, the answer is no. Finally, Yoshi gets it, but that already gives a huge advantage to the team on the right. Waluigi and Yoshi, or Waluigi and Peach, with about a 2 to 3 second lead. And, wow, they almost brought it back, but that is going to be a win for the blue team. Nice propeller hat, thank you. Someone redeemed it, so I had to put it on. So Peach and Waluigi winning that one. The rich getting a little richer here. I mean, look, I let people tell me how to dress if it means I've got sick fashion like this. I think you need to understand, Doubtfire, that I think you're reading an old version of the handbook. You might have been reading the wrong rules the whole time. We are on, we are in League Rules 2025 version 3.6.7. If you're not reading that version of the rulebook, you're looking at outdated information. I don't know where you got your information from. Maybe an old Reddit thread, but it might be a little outdated. Yoshman, another happening. We're kind of keeping an eye on it here, but he's been farming these early on. And what a play by him. With the reverse shroom, he can actually just go back and get the star. A smart play, dude. Not only does he get the happening, he has the reversal potential, which is insane. And DK winning an item bag. A lot of item bags. Look at this guy's inventory. He is juiced. DK with the boost crystal ball, the 2x star card, and the item bag item. With fully random items, I would say getting third in the lottery might be better than getting first in some cases. Oh, but wait a minute. If she plunders... Oh. And she stole the item bag item! Wow. I don't know what she wanted there. Honestly, they're all not bad things to have. I feel like maybe the boost crystal ball would be good insurance in keeping her own star because she doesn't have to worry about someone stealing it. But wait a minute, hidden block. Okay, it was just an item. No star this time, that's okay. We're moving on to a lucky minigame. Lucky minigame stacked with coin could be very impactful, but are we gonna get it? Manta rings coming in. The Shy Guy brings people to your space rather than you going to theirs or swapping. It's good to pull people away. I think we have ads. Our first ad break of tonight. We'll go ahead and pause the minigame here. We're waiting. Yeah, to talk a little bit about my holiday situation, the reason it's been a bit of a blow up for me personally and pretty stressful is that I got a ticket to fly out tomorrow to see family. But I talked to my mom on the phone today and she's still not feeling 100%. She said she was running a slight fever. She said she thinks she's getting better, but I really don't want to fly into that, not because I don't like my mom, but I would hate to get sick. I am looking to maybe try to travel on the 23rd if I can make it happen and the rest of my family is actually, like, not sick at that point. But the issue with that is that my current ticket cannot be changed. It's non-refundable. So I would have to buy a second ticket at full price. So I would be out an extra, like, $400 or something, which would suck. Also not good. And so the alternative is I do that and just eat the cost, I guess, or, well, the problem is everyone in my family except for my sister got the flu. My brother-in-law, my 3 nephews, well, I think one of them is a baby. I think he got an ear infection, and my mom had the flu. So there's not really a place for me to stay that's great. They're, like, all sick. Except for my sister, for some reason, she's not. So it's kind of cooked right now. And I can't really afford to get sick because a week after the holidays, I am going to GDQ, where I will be around people that are traveling from all over the country, all over the world even. And I would either A, hate to get sick and have to miss it, or B, go there and get other people sick. So the whole thing's cooked. There's no great situation. It's either get sick at families and then make other people sick, which would be irresponsible, and I don't want to get sick. Pay an extra $400 and maybe not get sick because people have more time to rest. Or just miss the holidays and go in January at some point, like, and just make up for it then. What about my dad? My dad is dead. He died 5 years ago. But my parents were divorced anyway, so even if he was alive, we wouldn't be there. It's okay. I was not a big fan of my dad. So, you know, it's fine. Don't worry. Fly only see my sister? I mean, I don't really know how that would work. I don't think that would work. I'll just look at them out from outside, looking through the window. I'll be like, hey, did you open the present? Okay, I gotta go. Hey, did you guys open it? You like it? Okay. See you next time. Okay, now we unpause. And we continue. Hey! Okay, what do we got here? 1, 2, 4, 1. Okay, at the moment, advantage to Waluigi. Peach taking advantage of the rings here. Now, contrary to popular beliefs, Manta Rings is not an RNG game. These patterns are predetermined. The Manta spawns can be practiced. And we'll see here by a triple miss that these guys did not do their homework. Either that or the jitters are hitting them right now. And it is going to be Princess Peach walking away with a win, but DK struggling big time on that one. Struggling big time on that one. DK actually in a very not great situation, which is fairly uncharacteristic from the #1 seed and heavy favorite to win the match. We are about 15 turns roughly in play, and here we go. The crazy play we were talking about here. Yoshi lands on the happening, goes past the star, reverse shroom back, bing bang boom, wooden shield. Yoshi's on the board. Next star is going to be further back up the roller coaster here, 13 to 50. And wait a minute, the 2-for-1 special. What a spawn and a play from Yoshi here off of the reverse shroom. He makes it a 2-for-1. Yoshi up to 2. An insane play actually out of Yoshi, even more insane than originally expected. And look at this. He tops it off with a happening space, which not only pushes him towards the next star, but it's another +1 for the bonus potential. Yoshi in a very good spot right now in terms of happening odds. DK with a bit of a jump on all of them to getting towards the star, but at the moment really does not have the funds. Waluigi also one short here. You know, I wonder if using the dueling minigame there might have been better. Just try to get yourself a little extra cash so you can afford that star, but no matter the fact, no matter the case, it is going to be 5-coin investment going into a boo steal onto Peach. Item bag. Okay, decent item. So Waluigi picked up the red pipe. Now, if you don't know how the red pipe works, now wait a minute, Peach. What a dunderhead play there. I don't know what Peach was doing with that. She actually brought Yoshi to the same space he was already on. Does nothing. John Blunderson of sorts. The only thing we can imagine that Peach was going for there is maybe just trying to burn the item from her inventory to make room for the item bag. No matter the case, I mean, that just seems like a bit of a misplay. But look at that right after pulls a lamp from the item space. And you know what? If she had not used the fly guy, she would not have gotten anything from that item space. It would have given her a message that said, you're full on items, you don't get anything. So in a weird roundabout way, her using that actually got her the lamp. The red pipe pulls someone, or I believe you swap places with whoever you want. You get to pick who you want to swap with. Nice navigation here. Both teams dodging the burners. Flawless execution. Will they remain flawless here? And it is going to be both teams getting clipped by the burner, but the red team, or the pink team, getting caught first, giving them an advantage, but they seem a little slow. I think they still managed to hold on, but it's close. Closer than you'd expect it to be. Peach and DK almost setting a new record on that one. All right, here we go. Yoshi with the 6. Let's see it. Gonna be going to the lottery. We've seen crazy stuff coming out of it so far, but not this time. Yoshi getting shut down. Toad making quick work of him there. With that soulless stare. Look at him. There is not a tie. Mario Party has a built-in tiebreaker. If there is a tie on stars and coins, it will go to a dice roll. Imagine a single dice roll determining the grand finals. Alright, here we go. Waluigi getting mega small here. 8. 3. 11 means... Uh-oh, wait. Boo Repellent might actually be higher value than the lamp, but I would imagine that the lamp gives you that immediate dopamine hit. It wouldn't put you in first as well. An extra star is always nice to have. We'll see which one he goes for. And it's gonna be the Boo Repellent. That Gadlight gonna work wonders in his favor here in helping him hold on to that first place position. Here we go, Princess Peach, currently tied with Waluigi, is going to be bringing out the lamp. And the genie's back! Let's do a check-in on the genie haters. The genie haters, active 1 minute ago, say, down with the genie! The genie haters hate him. Princess Peach here. Now, this is not a bad play by Peach. She comes in, she snipes the star. It will secure her first, and now she has access to Boo. Markov, you can't put links in the chat, dude. Don't do that. So here we go. We've got a Star Steal now going on to Peach. It's going to be DK the target this time. $16 coins going her way, and wow. DK now sitting on a double zero. Interesting choice to prioritize the last place player at the moment, but I think maybe Princess Peach knows what this guy's capable of, and she knows that the longer they can keep him down, the better her chances of winning and stealing another title are. And so she's trying to do her part to make sure that he gets no momentum on the field at all. What up, Shakes CS? All right, one going down on the blue team, 10-9 the scoreline. And we're still sitting pretty even here. Nice defense from both sides. An even match. This could be one of the highest scoring reversal bombs we've seen, but Yoshi is going to get knocked out there. And the dominoes are beginning to tumble here. The count quickly dropping. And there it is, a perfect game from the red team, Waluigi and Peach. Walking away with a victory. Yoshi and DK struggling there. Yoshi gonna be going to the item shop. Can only afford a 5-coin item, and he wants that key. He's grabbing it. Let's see what else he opts to get from the item. Ooh, a Bowser phone. Now that's interesting. He is 1 coin away from being able to maybe benefit from the phone on himself. DK would also benefit from a Bowser phone call. Waluigi moving around here. Full on items, so he gets nothing, and I was gonna say it's a bit of a nothing burger turn. Maybe Peach can do something. I'm not entirely sure. It's looking like the answer is no, not really though. But wait a minute, she's going to willingly opt into the Bowser space, and this could backfire on her. If the cost is items, this could be important in the Bowser game. Half of their coins. So literally only Waluigi and Peach have anything of value to lose here. The other players are just along for the ride. But the question is, what game are we gonna get? Balloon of Doom, the balloon is back! You know, a loss here for Yoshi could actually be good. Because it would put him at 0, and if he loses the minigame, he can use the Bowser phone on himself to get a little money back. So a loss here for Yoshi would actually be beneficial for him. I believe DK doesn't matter. Peach and Waluigi do not want to lose, though. Now, as we're waiting on this, you can tell that the balloon is getting close if you pay attention to the baby Bowser behind the balloon. He's starting to back up there. You can see every time the players jump. And it's when he goes behind the back right pillar that you know that the balloon is about to burst. So Yoshi and Peach... Well, Peach is in the clear here. He still has not ran further back yet. Okay, he's starting to go back. He's one away now. DK. Probably going to be in the clear here. It's going to be Waluigi. I think the next player to go. No, he still has not ran back. Which means there's at least one more round. It could be Peach. Princess Peach likely going to be the one who loses this. And there it is. Peach going down. Princess Peach, one of the people that we actually did not want to see lose that game, or I guess if you're a Peach fan, she did have something of value to lose, so probably not great that she did, in fact, lose it. I mean, the cash stack of everyone is not super huge, but this is going to be about a 16 coin loss on the, from the pockets of Peach here. And a lucky minigame, depending on if we get a 2 or 3x. Could be huge. Okay, 2x. DK definitely looking to gain a lot from this, even more so if we get the coin minigame. Oh, one off. It was on the field. That yellow text parasailing would have been massive. And we're back here. DK, we're going to keep our eye on this one. Needs a little something to get him started, and a 20 coin stimulus could be what he needs to get himself in gear. But in order to get it, he's gonna have to make it through this minigame, and right now, it's not looking like it's happening. And Yoshi putting the team on his back here, a quick 2-0. Can they get the sweep here? Peach with the pre-fire there, and look at that, a 3-0. DK still sitting on the double goose egg. Shutting him down, man. And Peach, after losing half of her money, actually gets more than that back from the minigame victory. So Peach completely reversing the Bowser effect off of that, and then some. Here we go, Bowser phone coming out. Who is Yoshi gonna call it on? Calls it on to Waluigi. Interesting choice here. Princess Peach, the one in first. Actually not getting affected by this at all, and look at that. 20 coins getting drained out of Waluigi's bank account. But Yoshi is not done yet. He's gonna go for Peach right after. Hitting her with the Boo steal here.
Just got here. DK in last.
Yes. Also, now that TTS Monster works, I can try to play that other one. That was a scam. Let's play it. Thank you, A-Bing, for the 19. On to tier 3. Why is it not playing this one, dude?
Babe, I'm breaking up with you.
There you go.
It's not you. You were poggers. It's me. I'm Oma Gallo. I'm sorry if this is Pepper Hands, but it has to be done. I've just been feeling Papega, and our relationship has been weird, champ, for months. It's time to end it. No capiens.
What did he say? Wow, what a play there by Waluigi. Wait, that was a nice play by him, but he underrolled DK with the opportunity to do something huge here. And I don't think I've talked too much about the scope of this, but DK needs to go on that merry-go-round right now. And look at that, another Boo repellent. Double Gadlights on the field now for Peach and Waluigi. And having that in first is a huge item to have in your inventory, bigger than you guys realize, because it's kind of a passive item, right? You don't use it, it doesn't do anything, but the protection it provides is insane. And she gets the fleeter. Now, I don't have the official number right now, but if Princess Peach were to win this game tonight, it would be her, like, at least 3rd title in the CPU leagues, maybe more than that. She might be getting her 4th or 5th ring tonight if she wins. She has won so many times over the years, and there's a reason that we have this Peach cheater command. It's because she has been a dominant threat in every league we have run since the beginning. 666 Okie, thanks for the 47, and welcome back. Appreciate it. That's gonna be Waluigi the first to go down here. Do we see a rare solo victory? I believe we did see a solo win on this a couple of times last week. I cannot, unfortunately, speed it up. As much as I would like to speed it up, well, I mean, I actually don't want to speed it up, but as much as I would like to be respectful as many schedules as possible, I don't think people would like it if I sped it up. Well, what you could do is you can go to the beginning of the match and watch it on 2x until it catches up to live. Then that's like kind of as if you're watching it on sped up speed in a weird way. Right? You know what I'm saying? Also, big rare solo victory for DK. Not normally expected, but you know, the thing about DK, and the reason that I think he's here in this finals match right now, is because we have seen this out of him countless times, but he always finds a way to get back into the game. And I don't know how he does it, but I believe even last week he was in a bad situation. But he not only managed to get out of it, he won. I have not played the Kirby Air Riders Christmas event. Yoshi with he's double orbing it. We have a quad orb on the field. One's a mystery orb, and Yoshi with 2 Boo orbs in pocket here. Leaf Apollo, thank you for the raid. Oh, but I think this is going to be our first battle minigame of tonight coming in. It is for sure our first battle game of the night. This could be a momentum shifter. Just kidding, it's a snooze fest. Everyone go back to bed. Everyone go back to bed, please. Thank you. Bedge. Okay, what the heck was that, man? That guy died in 1 second. Is that guy real? He says, I am not wasting my energy on this. That was a tactical move. We call that a tactical int. He intentionally died there, so he could then be in a pristine spot in the next minigame. They're all gonna be fatigued from focusing so much on this baby game that doesn't matter. He'll be locked in for where the money actually is at. You know? I mean, look at how much time these guys are wasting. And for what, 12 coins? Doesn't matter. At most, someone is getting like 7 or 8. Princess Peach will take the win. I mean, okay, it was a little bit more, 14, but still. I think Waluigi might have made the right play. We'll see in this next minigame. Let's check the turn count, by the way, 17. And this is tragic here. So DK finally making it to a star, but look at this. No money in pocket. He got Bubkiss. What up? I did make the HUD that he used at some point, probably, right? Oh, and that's a happening for Waluigi. Playing for the bonus stars, I see. Wait, but Peach she doesn't want to deal with it. She doesn't want to risk it. She's going to deny it with the fleeter here. And where are we heading? We are heading all the way up here to the top left section of the field. Right now, not a lot of people over there. I believe pretty much everyone in this bottom right corner, so we will likely have a few kind of more tame turns here as people move around the board. I mean, we took the drug tests before every round, including the finals. Like, basically, before every match, a day in advance, I reached out to the players, and we confirmed their status, you know? I have nothing to prove. The league has been verified. I don't have to show anything to the general public, okay? I need you to trust. You have to trust me here. By who? I've spoken to many higher-ups. You know, executives. And people with years of experience. You don't need to worry about it. Just trust me on it, okay? And there we go. It is currently looking to be an easy win for the blue team. Why is the fish over my head spinning but not my hat? Well, that guy does what he wants. That's Joel. Don't worry about him. He just kind of hangs out up there, which is chill. You know, he's a chill guy. My hat does not do what it wants. It would fly off my head if it could. Do we have a triple orb here? No. Poison shroom bunch. A lot of the time, my hat does not. Here we go. He's orbing it! And he orbed into a triple mushroom. Let's see what he rolls. So the question mark orb is interesting because you don't even know what item you get until you use it. Not a bad one for board movement here, and he needs it for sure. Let's see what DK picks up at the shop. Warp pipe, interesting. Very interesting indeed. Maybe the most interesting purchase we've seen today. That's not true. But DK working his way over towards the star. That golden mushroom helping him out quite a bit. Yeah. Do we have Evil Joel still? I think Evil Joel got removed. There's also Joel Pride. All right, our next minigame coming in is going to be Take a Breather. Take a Breather is a bit of a sleeper minigame as well. It's kind of just a masher. If you've never seen it before, they just do this with their hands, and it's them taking a deep breath, and then they just see how long they can stay underwater. It's an LR masher. Pretty boring, honestly. I think they really just wanted to show off the GameCube water graphics, which, I mean, they do look quite nice, to be fair. .342, the scoreline for Peach. Currently sitting about a star ahead of everyone as we are pretty comfortably moving into the mid-game. But honestly, it has been a fairly slow-paced match, I would say. The best play of the night still probably going to Yoshi with the reverse shroom double star play to propel him up into second, which is where he's currently sitting. Meanwhile, DK still trying to find his footing here. And wait a minute. DK with another bag pickup. That's huge. But he has no room, so he doesn't get anything from it. What a blunder. I mean, he didn't get to control that he would win that, but a huge missed opportunity here. The warp pipe, likely way worse than whatever he could have gotten from that item bag. I think we have an ad. Now we gotta wait. We have an ad. And we're waiting. Whew, a bit of a banger match so far. A little slow paced. I think it's going to pick up in the back half. Yeah, I'm really just trying to figure out my plans, though, man. The holiday plans have been a little stressful. More stressful than they want to be. I want them to be. Ideally, you don't want there to be any stress. But I would feel really bad if I had to miss going to an event because I went to go see a family that was all sick and then got sick. But I would also feel bad if I missed a holiday with family, so it's a back and forth, dude. Very interesting decisions have to be made. Not fun ones, for sure. The context is pretty much everyone in my family has been sick in the last week except for my sister. I was supposed to go fly in tomorrow, but I talked to my mom on the phone today. And she was like, she told me she was breaking out in a cold sweat trying to like get the stuff to even wrap presents for people, so not great. I feel like flying into that, not a great idea. So I'm trying to figure out if I should just pay $400 and get another flight on the 23rd. Or just go in January after the holidays. So, both are not fun outcomes for me. We'll see. I would like to go see family. I haven't seen my family in like a year, but my current ticket is non-refundable, so I'd have to buy an entirely new ticket. It's just not good. It's not good. Not a good situation. Okay, I believe ads are done. Let's get back into the action. Well, I mean, if I go, I'll be in the guest room. Do I plan to get stuck there? I mean, hopefully not. That sucked. You never know how much you enjoy the door being able to open until it can't open. That's what I learned. What should we expect during Mariah's halftime? Well, you know, that's tough to say because there's an ongoing DMCA battle right now. You know, we try to get the rights to her music so we could play it on the stream. She said it was chill. Her words were, yeah, go for it, fam. She said that in a DM to me from very real Mariah Carey account. It's definitely her. But I have been advised by the production team that if I play her music on stream, it might go bad. So, we'll see what happens at halftime. Can we have McDog? I mean, I'm always down for McDog. All right, 1v3 coming in. This time, oh, we have Blarby potential. We added the emote for this exact occasion. Will we see a Blarby tonight? Side bet. Looking for Blarby. Axelar. A Lebao. Almost like A Lamau. Arcs Alb. Oh, a blunder there by Waluigi will probably cost him the game as well. Larksley. That's pretty close, dude. La X. Your agent was playing League before I joined them, okay? And it was necessary. It was a canon event. We had to experience it. No Blarby this time. There's still time, though. We still have a chance. Here we go. Double orb coming out. First orb from Yoshi. But the question is, what is he going to do with it? Is he smart enough to burn it? And he is! Yoshi using the first of his orbs here, paying the minimum amount, a smart use here, is gonna burn the Gadlight off Peach in the first half of the match. Meaning Peach now is available, and as you can see in his inventory as well as DK's, there are still 2 Boo's Crystal Ball that are in play, meaning the Star Steel reality is out there. Now DK obviously can't afford it yet, but Yoshi can. And he goes for the plunder. Yoshi might be trying to plunder from DK. The double star card, another Boo's Crystal Ball. He could steal the Gadlight. I mean, a lot of great items for him to take. DK again striking out here. Actually had the money to get to the star for once, but then just got sent the wrong direction due to the teacups. Waluigi moving his way over to the lotto shop. Now, if he wins himself an item bag, he is filled up, which means he's getting Bubkiss here. And again with the item bag. But, unluckily for him, filled up, so nothing. Waluigi with a huge opportunity. If he wins the minigame, he is primed to get to that star. I don't know if it can be contested. He is going to for sure need a win here, though. Because unless he rolls low, he risks overshooting the star. So, I would say a very important minigame for him to at least get 9 coins from. If not, win outright. It is a 2v2. No coin minigame on the board, so win is required here, and it's going to be right or left. These have been very close. They have literally gone either way. I don't think he has a high or low chance. It's going to come down to execution. This is a no RNG minigame. It is actually a skill check game. We'll see if he wants it badly enough. He is on the blue side with Yoshi. And they're cutting right early here. Bouncing back left into the first set of burners. Do they clear? Yes, they do. Both teams clearing. Slight advantage to the blue team. Maybe like a few pixels, but no, they're going to run into one of the rocks there, and that's going to put them further back. The pink team is going to get caught by the burner. So does the blue team after, though. So the pink team still with an advantage. Do they get caught by the second burner? They don't, which I think means that is a win for Peach and DK. Waluigi walking away with nothing after that one. And DK still building up his money amount, his cash stack. It's starting to get there, but no stars to his name as we are well into the mid-game at this point. Turn 21 of 50. And here we go, Yoshi with the plunder. A lot of options here. What's he gonna go for? Oh, and that's probably the worst item that he could have possibly grabbed out of all of the ones available to him. A bit of a tragedy there in the RNG department, but he'll take it. Gooseman Gaming, thanks for the 100 bits. MPSN game odds update. DK 21% chance of victory. Peach at 26. Yoshi at 27. And Waluigi at 24. Speaking of Waluigi, though, gonna be coming up short here. There it is. Gonna under... He rolls too high, misses the star, do the minigame loss, and he gets nothing from that. Thank you for the update, MPSN. Princess Peach working her way over on the left-hand side. Toad's Quick Draw, the next minigame of choice. And I really like this one. There are a few strats that you can use on this, and you really get to see players' skill expression. Some of them like to hover the bottom section. Some of them will pick a specific balloon that they track while they wait for the Toad flag. We'll see what we get here. A few of them tracking that lime green. And nice, purple goes quickly over to Waluigi. Waluigi, a quick 2-0 lead. Can he close it out? A perfect game. Peach answering back. Whoa! Hey Bing, thank you for the 20 gifted. Holy! A giga drop. Thank you very much for that, man. 20 gifted, very generous of you. Hey, I hope you have a nice holidays, man. And thank you for supporting the channel and the CPU League as a whole. We appreciate that here at CPU League HQ International. But 20 big ones, including TJ Detweiler. What a name, dude. Shoutouts to Recess. We are doing another eShop stream. It will happen. And here we go, Yoshi going for a warp play. Interesting move here by him. That's actually gonna give him prio to the shop. It's gonna accelerate Peach towards the star, but it does mean she will not be able to go to the shop her own. Hidden block card getting collected. Woo! Yes, we'll see what 2026 holds. I would like to get Toad in as a playable character. I know he's a fan favorite for sure. I have not started planning next year's league yet, but there will likely be one. So don't worry about that. Here we go, warp play coming in on Waluigi. Yeah. He rolls the dice, but the dice do not agree with him this time around. He's moving away from the star. And look at that, another orb. We've got triple orbs still in inventory. Where are these orbs coming from? Everyone getting pushed over to the lotto section. And we've got another 2v2 on our hands. This time, Team Treasure Trek. One of my favorites. This has been a fun one to watch, guys. This one, if you are new here, is pretty straightforward. All you have to do is find the box, the question mark box with your color border, and then find your teammate. First team to do that will win. Let's see what these guys do. You know, we've seen the follow your teammate strat. We've seen the run around and do nothing strat. A lot of strats have prevailed this season. It looks like right now, Yoshi and DK making quick work of it. No, wait, actually, Peach on the bottom left there does find her box pretty fast as well. And DK and Yoshi, look at Peach. She's trailing Waluigi because she knows the second he finds his box, it's game over. Yoshi actually trying to do the same thing, but he messed it up there. He let DK run past him, and that allows the red team to walk away with the victory. Well played. Honestly, that was a skill gap. Yeah, we're gonna get Yoshi on the Rift. Summoner's Rift, that is. He will be there. Mark my words. Yoshi with the hidden block card. Will he get lucky? Moment of truth. No. Yoshi will take the money, but unfortunately for Yoshi fans, no star this time. But you know what he is going to get? Another happening. We almost had a 4-player Giga stack on the left side there, but Yoshi going to be moving over to the right-hand side instead. Now, the interesting thing about DK is the second he gets a star, he is back in the game instantly. And the reason why is because that second item in his inventory, the double star card, it allows him to get 2 stars for the price of 1. And so all he has to do is hit the star place and he will essentially be caught back up fully into the game. The problem that he is having is getting there in the first place. Because again, look at this. He is too fast, he's jumping the gun too early, and now he misses the direction. And another boo repellent getting collected. Look at this, dude. The items that we are seeing in these guys' pockets are crazy. Dual boo repellents, triple boost crystal ball, a dueling item. A lot of options here. Skeleton key. No, wait, no. It is going to be a battle minigame. He doesn't have a skeleton key. Oh, but he'll take the 30 coin payoff. Waluigi fans not feeling too bad about that. That is going to be a 2 to him. Battle minigame could be what some of these people need to get back in the game. It's a 10 coin one, but honestly, if you are Yoshi, if you're DK, a win here is still important, and we're going to fan favorite Trace Race. Now, we are in grand finals, so the question is, will anyone feel themselves enough? Are they confident enough to pull out a loop skip here on the final stage? Moment of truth coming up here. Let's see it. Wow. Look at the nerves here. No one going for loop skip. They're all trying to nail that loop instead because they know what is at stake. And, I mean, this is a tough one to call. I think everyone did fairly well across the board. DK struggling a little early there, but Waluigi with the 95. Gonna win by a score of 2 over everyone else. Waluigi will take the 28 coin payout, 12 going to Peach as well, breaking even on that mini game. The other players taking a loss. And all of a sudden, DK kind of back in the pits here. You know, he was starting to build up his cash stack. He's got the double star card, had an opportunity to bring himself into the game, but back down to 11. And that is going to be Peach trying again next time. But look at her money amount. We haven't talked about it in a while. It has been slowly creeping upwards, along with Waluigi's, and they are in the 70s. With an opportunity to go even higher with the lucky minigame. It's a 2xer. Candlelight Flight gonna be our minigame of choice. We saw this at the very beginning earlier, and it was Peach who ended up winning the solo side of things. Waluigi trying to repeat that. See if he can do similarly, or if he will get shut down. Does get hit pretty early here. Second hit, they've kind of got him on lock. He's getting comboed a bit. He's gonna need to calm down if he wants to pull this out. Starting to stabilize just a little bit. 12 seconds to go. He gets clipped again. Probably one more hit away from GG, and there it is. Shut down there by the dong. Big shutdown. Big win for the team of 3. Okay. Yoshi on the right-hand side here, gonna work his way down. Really not a whole lot to be said for him this turn, trying to just build up this money amount so he can go for a star steal, because reminder, even though there are 2 Gadlights on the field, neither of them are on Peach anymore. She did get hers burned off, and I think Waluigi gonna take advantage of that potentially here. Let's see it. And there it is immediately. Goes straight for it. Oh, but he chose the anybody option. What a crazy move here. He goes for Yoshi. He lets RNG take the wheel rather than making a choice. We have never seen this in the league before. He chooses the random option in grand finals. And on top of that, not only does he get a star seal, he's gonna get the confirmation from the Toadstar as well and move into first off of this play. An insane play, and if you're a Yoshi fan, I mean, you gotta be clutching your fist because like, in what world do you make grand finals and rather than making the strategically best play, you just put it to chance? Apparently there was a potential payoff from the Peach GM onto the Waluigi Ball Club. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about this finals, dude. We're gonna have to do an investigation once the match concludes tonight. The Peach GM guy's looking mad shady right now. I don't know if you can trust him. I don't know if I would trust him. Solo player, we have never seen a solo loss on this minigame the entire season. On every difficulty, every match, the solo has won, and I don't expect that to change here, so this is likely a free stimulus deposit into the bank account of DK. During the next ad break in about 5 minutes, I will be checking in on the Discord clubs to see the state of affairs, because I don't know, but I can imagine things are on fire behind the scenes. DK taking the victory there. Another solo win, DK. Up to 48. The halftime show will likely be, after this. Well, like during the next ad break. Technically, it'll be after this turn, but we've got an ad in 7 minutes, so. We're going for the Star Steel. And again, look at this! They're putting it to chance a second time! And what a crazy choice to do that! Because you are risking paying 50 coins for nothing and it does not pay off! The Gadlight gets burned onto Waluigi and that is a waste of money from Yoshi. All that he needed to do if he wanted to get rid of the Gadlight was pay the 5 coins! He paid 10x the required amount to do the same thing. Wait, but this could be a strategic move. Now he's at 0 coins. With that, he can use the Bowser phone on himself. Holy crap. What is happening here? Okay, that is going to be 18 coins going the way of DK. DK's own cash stack now starting to scale up, and I think this is why we can't count this guy out. Because here's the thing. He has 0 stars for now. But that star card in his inventory, the number 2 slot in his inventory, is so important, and all it takes is one purchase and he's back in the game. But I don't think we're out of the woods yet with Boo nonsense. We've got another steal on our hands. Likely just a few seconds away from happening. And here it is. Going into the Boo house. Star Steel. Maybe back onto Waluigi. Oh! We're all putting it to chance! But it goes to Waluigi anyways. They're all just like RNGing it, dude. That is going to be Peach going up to 4 stars, Waluigi down to 3. Smart play here by her, but not gonna quite make it to the star. I mean, we do have it on pure chaos settings. Maybe that affects their ability to make decisions. I did not know that if that's the case, but I like it. I like the chaos. All right, the Great Deflate coming in here. I will give you a play-by-play recap after your Sonic run, no worries. Rare Thwomp sighted, the inflatable Thwomp, one we don't see anywhere else in the Mario universe other than this minigame, so get a good look because this might be our last great deflate of the season. Slight advantage to the team on the right by about a pixel. We're tied up. Advantage now to the team on the left. Yoshi going AFK at the wheel here, at the buzzer. And that is going to be a win for Peach and DK. I would buy an inflatable Thwomp in real life for my pool. That would be sick. Just a turn check. Okay. Yep. Okay, interesting choice here, Yoshi. Gonna actually probably benefit from this. So he's gonna be using the coin block die here, which will give him a little bit of cash, and it'll help him with movement a bit to kind of reboot his econ. And he picks up the minus block, which can be used on someone else to remove money from them. But wait a minute, DK now getting involved in the action. The question is, who does he even go for? Does he put it to chance? He goes for Peach! He says enough nonsense! You fools, this is grand finals! I'm not playing games! He's locked in and he goes straight for it. DK, stealing from Peach, and all of a sudden we have a 2-star game. But wait a minute, this is what we were talking about, where you can never count on DK. He goes for the star steal, gets the star, double star card, and he's gonna go up to 3. So in a single turn, he goes from having 0 stars and being down by 4 to tying the stars of the first place holder. DK back in the game. Yes, this item is not the same as you are used to. It doesn't allow you to buy 2 stars. It is a buy one, get one free. You pay 20 coins and get 2 stars. That's why I was saying that item is very strong. And Yoshi tried to steal it, I think multiple times. It didn't work. Interesting. Gad Brush, she's gonna copy the inventory. But who is she gonna get? Is that Yoshi's? Yeah, she does get Yoshi's inventory. Probably the one she didn't want. Because DK did have the Gadlight and Waluigi had the dueling game. Instead, she got some other nonsense, and she's gonna call the Bowser phone onto Waluigi. Wait a minute. Big man Bowser showing up again. What is at stake? If it's items, it could be important. Oh, it's the Shuffler! No game this time. We've got another 1v3 in our hands. DK, the solo player, does have home field advantage here, but from what we have seen, traditionally has not made a difference. Let's see how it's looking. DK. Doing a good job of surviving so far. Goes for an AFK strategy. It actually pays off. Oh, nice juke there on the Waluigi, but no. Gets taken out. And I think we've got a bit of a game on our hands, guys. I think it's too early to write anyone off as a guaranteed winner or out of the match. Yoshi now using the minus block. Okay, not a bad play. Another happening to him. Yoshi still stockpiling these. And we've got the mini Mega Hammer coming out. Who's he going to use it onto? Onto Waluigi. Interesting choice. And you know, another really interesting thing to point out involving Waluigi is that guy has been holding on to that dueling minigame from the very beginning of the game. He has just not used it yet. And I don't know what he's waiting for. Interesting decisions being made by our players here. Minus block coming out as well. But Peach is not to be messed with. She says, you can do all your star-stealing nonsense that you want, but I am still in this game, and she's back up to 4 stars. Princess Peach being reported as playing at 80% today, and if this is 80% of Princess Peach, you've got to wonder what she would look like at 100. Oh, sorry. All right, we've got our next minigame coming in. And it's ad time. Welcome to the halftime show. We couldn't get Mariah Carey, so we had to get Jerma today. A very special viewer by the name of Michael is apparently having a birthday today. So we're gonna pull that up. You know, well, I want to give a quick shout out to Michael for tuning into the stream tonight. We appreciate that. Thank you. So we'll just bring that out right quick.
Rats, we are the rats. Celebrating on a birthday batch. Michael, it's your birthday today.
Happy birthday, Michael!
Ice cream is on its way. And Michael, you're such a good boy this year. Open up your gifts while we all cheer.
Interesting. Well, you know, that was just that was the opener to the halftime show. No, actually, I don't think I can make it through this. I was gonna play this, but I actually don't think I can make it through this. Wait. I don't... Oh, wait. We couldn't get Mariah Carey, but we did get access to Nintendo. They're gonna help us out here. Oh! Sorry, my bad. Mariah Carey's legal team said, if you play her music, we will take out your ankles. But you know, we want to give a shout out to everyone for tuning in during this busy holiday time. We know it's a very tricky time. Everyone's got plans with family, last minute shopping, the works, okay? You know, so we just want to say thanks for tuning in to the league. The finale. It's been a good one so far. We will likely be back in 2026 as well. Who knows what we have in order? I don't know. I don't even know yet. I was gonna play a Toad cover, I just couldn't do it. Wait a minute, this just in, we're being informed. Hold up. Someone has broken in. Wait, hold up. Someone has broken into the studio. They're taking over the halftime show. Wait a minute. Wait. Who is it? What's happening?
And we are live.
It's Tay-Zonday Games.
Tay-Zonday Games.
He's taking over the halftime show.
2015. And we're going to try playing a little bit of multiplayer, playing some TF2.
Wait, who let this guy in the studio? Who let him in the booth?
Show some servers.
Who even is this guy?
Actually, I'm just going to go to the server browser here. 30th, 2015.
Oh, no. Wait, get the production team on this. He's getting out of hand.
Why don't we hold on? I got to mute that.
Wait a minute.
There we go. That actually, I'm just going to go to the server browser. 30th, 2015.
Guys, cut him off. Control room, cut him off. Oh my God, we can still hear him. Wait. Where is he? I would just like to apologize on behalf of the league. for what you just had to witness. I don't know what happened there. He just busted in. He hijacked the live feed during our ad break. We were supposed to do a halftime show. I really don't know what happened there. That's on me. I'm sorry. We'll do better next year. You know, if you're one of the millions of viewers that's watching this live right now, I'd just like to apologize. I don't know what that was. That was so unprofessional of the league. I'm sorry that you had to see that. Okay. Good news is the ads are done, so let's get back into the action. Thanks for joining the halftime show. Do I have any New Year's stream resolutions? I have a content resolution. I don't know if it's a stream one. It would affect the stream and YouTube. I can't really talk about it right now, though. Basically, I need to find a direction that works and lock in. That's the TLDR. Resolution 1080p. 1080p? What is this? 2013? Give me the times. And there it is, a quick win by Peach and Yoshi on the left-hand side. Peach is the winner. Can you believe that? She really is. Holy crap, she's the winner. Okay, 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I have 1440p, but I have not set it up yet, so. Another win for Princess Peach, who's nailing it. Loki, she's crushing it right now. She's high-key crushing it, not low-key. As we move on to our next game, Scratch Off and Yoshi with the Bupkis, getting absolutely nothing. See you later. Small Yoshi, as it turns out, is not better at being lucky at the lotto than Big Yoshi, but it does mean he can go through the pipe and play this mini game here. Now, weirdly enough, we're over halfway into the game, and there still has been no... Oh, wait, interesting choice here. There's been no chance time yet. It's actually been probably one of the most stable games we've seen tonight. Will it remain that way, though? That's the question. I don't know. DK. Oh, nice inventory by DK. But here's the thing. DK now has to make a very difficult decision because both of the items that he has, in addition to the boo repellent, that Gadlight in his inventory, will get rid of the Gadlight. So he has to be very careful because in both cases, the barter box will swap his inventory with someone else's, so he'll give it away. Or if he uses the Gad brush, he'll copy someone else's inventory and get rid of it entirely. So, I don't know how I feel about it. Right now, the blessing of Yoshi is being given right now. They're creating a Yoshi summoning circle, but as I say that, to try to bring Yoshi back, it is Peach who wins the lottery here, and she's gonna be winning a 100 coin bonus, which will by far set her ahead as the coin leader, the star leader, and likely she's not done yet. She might be doing more here. We are doing one match here. This is the final match. Princess Peach goes for the barter box. And I think what she wants to do is maybe jump the gun here and swap with DK. But she is going to go away from the boo. I think she's prioritizing the star placement. Peach in a very dominant position, though. Interesting moves by Peach. Guys, I swear this match has not been rigged. I also did not burn down a Long John Silver's in 2004. Both of those things are true. You have to trust me. Both teams are going to be hitting the burner there. Advantage to the pink team. Pink team walking away with a victory. And another win for Peach and DK. Peach is surging at the moment. It's looking crazy. Okay, I did not destroy the church bathroom. I did not throw up or anything. I was just fighting for my life in the bathroom. I was clutching a Gatorade bottle. They started the Christmas Eve service and were playing whatever the pastor was saying over the speakers into the bathroom. So this dude's out here talking about Jesus and all that, Christmas holiday. I'm losing it. Clutching my little Powerade bottle. It was a disaster. But honestly, at this point, minus 20 from Peach, but does it matter? I don't know. I don't think it does. Genuinely. Hidden block card. If you want to know what it actually was, it was a blue Powerade. And I bought it from the vending machine in the lobby. Wait a minute, Yoshi! No! He gets the Zatar! Which means he's going to lose one after buying the hidden block card, pulls another hidden block, goes down to 0. What a blunder here from Yoshi, who is now struggling as we get into the back half of the game here. And he's not done yet, because after buying the hidden block card, DK with the immediate Butterbox swap, meaning Yoshi will now have, I mean, he gets the Boo Repellent, but, like, no hidden block card for him. Now, it's not completely over yet, because if Yoshi wants to, well, first of all, Peach can also steal it again. We'll see if she does or not. But then Yoshi can try to swap it back with the Gad Brush. The Gad Brush is an RNG brush, though. It's a 1 in 3 chance, because you don't get to choose who you swap with, but theoretically, he could get it back. Doing a turn check here. 29 to 30. Okay. Still on pretty good pace. Insane mega pace. Waluigi with the item bag play. And nothing great there. Will we see it? Yes, here it is. Barter box coming out. But who does she prioritize? Yoshi or DK? No, she wants it. Now look at this. Another swapperoo. So now Peach with the hidden block card that Yoshi bought. Already 2 swaps in a single turn. And I think Yoshi might just try to get it back. But Peach is not done yet. Another star in her pocket. She is starting to balloon outwards here. This game is breaking wide open. Peach up to 5 stars, and we're not even on turn 30 yet. The Zatar, I believe, just gives you a hidden block, so you can technically get a Zatar from it. I don't know with 100% confidence if that's true or not, because I did not program the mod, and the Zatar is not normally in this game, but from my understanding, that's how it functioned. All right, Waluigi, the solo player here in the 1v3. Typically, the expert tier computers do a good job of surviving as the solo. We are going to see if this continues, or if the team of 3 will maybe mix things up a bit on their approach. And there you go. Waluigi holds on for another solo victory. Now, Yoshi does have a chance to get the block back. It is not completely written off yet, but we are going to see. If you're Yoshi, though, you do need to kick it into gear, and I don't really know what that looks like for you when you only have about 20 turns to work with. I mean, we are on turn 30 of 50. And he's going to go for it. 1 in 3 chance to get the swap back with Peach. but it looks like it is going to be DK. So he gets a little unlucky there on the swap. Will not be able to get the hidden block card. It will remain in inventory for Peach. But I think he's still going to use the Poison Shroom bunch anyways. Just to try to make it hurt a little bit. Everyone getting ran away. Yeah, probably the worst inventory to swap with, as DK also is answering back. And he is going to do another Poison Shroom bunch. But wait a minute. The first chance time of the night is here. Lock in. How's the match been? It's been chaotic, dude. Yoshi lost a star. This could be it. This could be it. What happens? Let's see who's involved. Waluigi. Oh, and it's Yoshi! It's Yoshi's involved! If we get a swap, Yoshi's back in the game! But is it gonna happen? Okay, it's not a swap, but it is a star donation from Waluigi into the pocket of Yoshi. A little bit of good news if you're a Yoshi fan, and really bad news if you're a Waluigi fan. Both of them getting dragged down by that one. Bowser phone, wait a minute. On to Peach. He's had enough. Hello. Honestly, barely a dent on that one. Wait, but it's a battle minigame. Another momentum shifter. Potentially. Never mind, it's 10 coins. I go back to bed. I mean, if Peach loses, her econ will be, like, lower. It has been going down. She had, like, 130 or 40 coins. She's down to, like, only 40. She's gone through 100 of them in a very short amount of time. And it's gonna be Yoshi walking away with a victory. Peach goes for the frame-perfect pull, and it was just a little too early on that. Meaning Yoshi will take a victory. He does still have 20 turns to go, you're right. The Funky Brand special, he can make it happen. Oh, MPSN updates, but wait a minute. Okay, nothing from the hidden block. Start of turn 31. DK, 22%. Peach, 39%, but wait a minute, it's chance time! Round 2, we're back. 14% on Yoshi, 23 on Waluigi. This could ruin the MPSN odds. Let's see it. And the horses are on the screen! Thank you, Swearin, for the horses. Who's getting involved? Oh, Princess Peach. There is potential for a DK Peach swap here. Wait a minute. But if it's not a swap, it probably benefits Peach. And it's a donation of a star from DK onto Peach! Peach will go up to 6 stars off of the chance time. Peach growing her lead off of these chance times. And she is sitting on 6 stars, 66 coins. A sign of what's to come? You tell me. Peach now with a 4-star lead as we move into the back half. It appears the Egyptian curses that were being cast by the Peach GM onto the other teams might be coming true here. double juicer here. Double juice going to the blue man group on the right-hand side. You demand reparations? Well, calm down, the game's not even over yet, okay? I did not even bet. The game's not over yet, guys. 1-1, current scoreline, burger and hot dog. Oh, wow, look at that. We actually had DK getting the second one, but it gave advantage to the red team on that. It must have been frame perfect. Or like a 1 frame difference or something. I don't know. Double ice cream, Choco Mint, and look at that, wow. Those guys were in sync on the left. Huh! And the heart bits are coming in. Holy crap! Thanks for the bits. Alert! Thank you for the 5 bits. Thank you for the 5 bits. Thanks for in 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 for the 5 bits. Thank you for in for the 5 bits. I think that was all of them. Wait, one more. Thank you for in for the 5 bits. Oh, and here we go. Yoshi with a chance at the lamp. Will he get it? Lamp on the field. Thank you, Swin, for the 2 bits. No, he doesn't get it. He gets the worst item out of probably the group. The mini mega hammer, a very low tier item in Mario Party 4 Deluxe. Item space. Right after means the plunder chest. Not a bad thing to have in inventory for sure. Current turn check is, I believe, low 30s. I believe low 30s. Let me check. 31. You cannot duel for multiple stars. The way it works is you either duel with your star and then they duel with theirs, or if you have 50 coins, you can pay 50 coins as like insurance and then you duel for their star. Those are the only ways it works. Or you duel for coins, I think. Princess Peach going for the plunder, but what does she want? She's plundering the mini mega hammer. I think she wanted the plunder chest from Yoshi, but she didn't get it, meaning Yoshi now free to use the plunder and whatever he wants. And we've got a 2v2 coming in. What is it gonna be this time? Dungeon Duos making a return. We saw a bit of a absolute John Blunderson sighting with Yoshi and DK on this last time. And they are back on the left-hand side. Don't have a great track record so far. We'll see if they can redeem themselves. Yes, this is a minigame that is inspired by the hit Mario Maker 2 Panga level. That's actually correct. We did see the star and coin count. The 666 was real. It was real. I wasn't paying attention. Did we get an extra hop? That's important for the parlay. I don't know if there was an extra hop this time. I need to keep track of those. We had one earlier for sure. Someone's Dungeon Duos parlay just got ruined because we had a second hop. They only bet on one hop. Alright, it comes down to the final pipes. Which team can figure it out first? And oh, neck and neck here. It looks like Yoshi with the advantage. Well, I don't know who wins this. I think the advantage is to the blue team, but it's very close. Do you see this? I think the blue team wins. Barely. And they do. Yeah, look at that. Very close match, but yeah. Peach and Waluigi 2-0 on that one. 6-2-2 won the scoreline. Peach with a 4-star mega gap over everyone else. And I mean, dude, we are not out of time yet, but with it being turn 32 of 50, you gotta start wondering, like, what is the game plan for these guys? Like, what are they hoping to do? You know? And right now, there's not even a lot of items in anyone's pocket. Like, Waluigi still has the dueling item. I mean, Yoshi's got that warp pipe, which is very strong, but he pulled an orb! There it is. Yoshi on a good path as well to be able to get that star if he can get a high enough roll in the next turn. I suspect we're gonna see a Princess Peach mini Mega Hammer onto Yoshi next turn. Perhaps. Honestly, I think we're on pretty good pace on this game. There's been a lot of activity. I think we're still on track to probably finish this game in the next hour and a half, 90 minutes. Which is about what I was planning it for. I was planning it for it to be a 7:30 to 11:30 finals, and I think we should hit the mark on that. I started a little later than I wanted to, but we should finish at around the same time still. It's been very active, though. Very active. Princess Peach with the mini Mega Hammer. Gonna be using it onto the Yoshman here. And you know, we were talking about how maybe that is not a great item to have, but the normal mini status, not the super mini status, I believe does limit movement from 1 to a 3. I'm not sure. There is a possibility that it'll allow Yoshi to still get a normal roll, but if that is the pre-Mario Party 4 Deluxe version of being mini, where you are limited on your spaces, it could be actually a good offensive use there by Peach. Or, I guess, defensive to prevent Yoshi from getting to the star. We'll see what happens. A DVD speedrun game. I don't know if I'll be bringing it out tonight. I think we need to end on a high note. Once the finals are done, we wrap it up for the night. But I will bring back the DVD game in the future. By popular demand. The people love the DVD game. And the people are me. I like it. I'm a big DVD game fan. Alright, well, we've got our first instance of this minigame tonight. And, I mean, look, these guys are on expert. They know what they're doing. It really kind of comes down to, who can execute the best. And right now, it's looking like Waluigi. Up to 90. Any little combo here might be enough, and there it is. Waluigi making quick work of it. No runs after the finals. We have to end on a high note of a good season. Oh, this is the limiting one, so good defense there by Peach. Yoshi had a 1 in 3 chance of hitting the happening space, but he is going to miss it. That does, however, open the opportunity for DK to come in for a snipe. However, here is the thing. DK does not have the funding. And so instead, he'll just pass it by. Do we have a plunder coming out? Of course we do. Plunder time onto Yoshi, but what will he get? And he gets the orb. Wait, Waluigi going to Yoshi space could be huge. Gonna go to Peach instead. And Peach with the most stars, the highest econ in the game, and she is feeling very comfortable. We could see a star record tonight. I've not watched Grease, no. And wow, that did nothing. Nice move. Parasailing, our next minigame coming in is going to be a 2v2. Not a coin minigame, I don't believe. Or no, it is a coin minigame, not a lucky minigame. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. So the coins collected here will not be multiplied, but very important minigame for econ for pretty much everyone involved. If you are not named Princess Peach, you want to make the most of an opportunity like this. It's currently 9 to 7 here, 10 to 11 Slight advantage to the pink team. Waluigi falling a bit behind DK in the boat itself. And Yoshi having a hard time hitting these coins, which is allowing the red team to secure way more, but the blue team starting to surge a bit. They're looking to catch back up. Only 2 behind now. 3 behind, 2 behind. Reminder, though, there are no winners and losers here. All the money collected goes to the participants. And it looks like the bigger winners here are going to be DK and Peach, but everyone walking away with a solid turnout on that one. It's going to be a nice econ injection. And everyone looking fairly good. So now, we go back to the original question. Does Yoshi get the star? It's going to come down to whether or not he can secure it with a roll here. Needs a 3 or higher, and he gets a 2, and a huge blunder here. It gets him happening, but it's going to push him away from the star. A major misplay, a 20% chance to miss the star, and he hits it. DK brings out the Super Mega Mushroom as well. We'll see what he does with that. Big roll here for a big man. Look at this. A 20. Everyone now stuck in this loop in the bottom right. And it's kind of a race around the circle because right now the teacups are pointing in the right direction. But he'll get a 2 for 1 with this. Look at that. That's a nice payday for DK. We have an ad. But he pulls a lamp! What? Ad break. We're waiting on the ads. Guys, a crazy game that we have on our hands here, I think. We're getting deep into it, though. It's been a banger. I'm excited to see how this one turns out. I don't know why, but I feel like Peach doesn't have it locked down just yet. I'm just getting that vibe. I don't know why, I feel that way. I feel that there's more going on here. I'm not saying Peach is gonna lose. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Peach is gonna lose. All I'm saying is there's a chance that someone else could win. Okay? I feel like there's more to be played. There's more game to be played. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay, well, on the note of streaming, though, I'm gonna give you guys a little schedule update. Right now, my plans are in flux a little bit. The current plan is I will hopefully be getting to see family on the 23rd because I really want to see family if I can do that. It would suck to not be able to do that. I also don't want to pay $500 though, on top of having to pay for a flight that now is non-refundable, so it's like, it's a tough decision for me, man. But I'm gonna figure out my holiday stuff. Look, I don't know when I'm streaming again next. This is my last scheduled stream for now around the holidays. I will probably stream at least one more time before New Year's. This is not my last stream of the year like a lot of people have been doing, but I will be doing another eShop stream probably next week. Not next week. Well, like the week after or something. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I'm still figuring it out. We'll see. But I'm just letting you know. I am actually kind of in a weird spot with my content right now anyways, so I'm trying to figure out a lot of stuff going into 2026, and I'm hoping that going to GDQ and being around a lot of like-minded creator people will help me kind of get my head straight, because right now it's been a jumbled mess these last few months. I'm just kind of hanging on right now, if I'm being for real. Okay, ads should be just about done, which means we can get back into the action. Let's do it up. In case you missed it, from the ad, DK pulled himself a bit of a magic lamp, but wait a minute. Waluigi finally has the funding needed. He's gonna go straight for Princess Peach off of this one. Princess Peach losing a star, still in a very comfortable lead, but you know, at what point does it start to become a little less comfortable? Yeah. Princess Peach also working her way around the bend here. And it's kind of a mad dash because whoever makes it to those teacups first likely will get themselves a star for their efforts. But we gotta get through a 2v2 minigame first. Cliffhangers. Now, normally I would say this is a sleeper minigame. But in this particular circumstance, I don't think it is. Because expert mode computers rarely ever get pulled back down. So I think we're gonna get a fairly even game on this one. And it will likely be pretty short as well. DK is definitely going to use the lamp. I didn't actually look to see if there was any item steal potential, but if there's not, it is for sure a DK lamp scenario. Right now, slight advantage to the red team. Pretty much neck and neck. The blue team bringing it back. Yoshi getting a little more antsy there, and it's going to work out in his favor. Probably about a half-meter lead as they crest the 90-meter mark. Nope, both teams are going to re-grab here. We're on turn 34. And look at that. The blue team getting caught by the bluff of the wind, the blowing wind, allowing Yoshi and DK to get a victory there. Five, 3, 2, 1, the score line. Still advantage to Peach, but it is a bit closer than it was before. Even just a couple of turns ago, as Yoshi gets a hidden block. Oh, and he gets another Zatar! Yoshi over 2 on the hidden blocks, and he's down to 0. The second one of the night for Yoshi. And you gotta imagine the Yoshi fan base is just mid-crash out. Like, those guys are losing it. Meanwhile, the Genie haters are eating good because the Genie's back.
Aw, poor Yoshi.
DK will be getting a star off of that. Holy. Giotto Bro, thanks for the 31. Welcome back. Hey, a Yoshi birthday is a good choice. I would have probably had a Yoshi birthday whenever I was younger. We had to work for a Nintendo or like a Mario birthday. I think you probably could do a Yoshi one now, though. I support. I support. Next star is going to be top left. Even if Yoshi's kind of throwing in this game. Waluigi, next one to step up to the plate here. Yeah, the game has been not too slow, but it's been maybe a little bit slower in some aspects, just because of the sheer amount of items that's been used. Like, if we had a track on the number of items that have been used this game, it will be over 50 at the end, almost certainly. Like, these guys are using items like nobody's business. Part of the reason that I like this this version of the game, is because of how active the items make the players. They get a lot of agency. It is likely going to be a chance time play at this point. And Peach and DK getting caught up in the chaos there. Consumed by the avalanche. As Waluigi going to be walking away with a W on that one.
Yeah! Waluigi's the winner!
5-3-3-0 the scoreline now. Now, if you've missed the beginning part of this match, Yoshi has gotten 2 hidden block negative stars. He's gotten 2 Zatars. He would be higher up than he is now, at least a little bit, but at every turn he has been getting blasted by RNG. It has been rough to be a Yoshi fan tonight. Six, 7, oh! Sorry. DK not winning anything at the lottery, but he might be winning the meme Olympics here today. He might, though, hit himself with a chance time. We're gonna find out. No, he's gonna go way past it. He will get to play the mini game, which this is a pretty basic one. It's gonna net him probably 20 coins based on his choice. Yep. A nice little economic cash injection. I can't talk. Into his pocket, but with that extra money, and he gets himself a star. Okay, DK. A pretty solid play all around there, man. Gets the money needed for the star, and then gets the star right after. Wait a minute, he got the rare double star spawn. I don't think he has enough distance. He's close, though. But no! He had too much hubris! He saw the star, and he didn't pay attention to the space in front of it. He's now being shot away. DK with an opportunity there. That star does put him within one of Peach, though. Peach not looking invincible. Definitely in striking distance. Don't have too much hubris. Never over hubris. A 9 coming out of Princess Peach, but she can't go anywhere. She's just stuck in the loop. As we move back on to our next minigame, gonna be a 2v2. Reverse-a-bomb. We've seen some great reverse-a-bomb gameplay today. We had a rare one that was so good. We had one that was so good that neither team got to 0. Pot of Greed allows me to draw 2 additional cards from my deck and place them into my hand. I have the Pot of Greed emote. I'm always ready. And look at this. Huge momentum from the team on the left. 10-4. Are we going to see a perfect game coming out of Yoshi and DK? 9 seconds still to go on the clock. There it is. Perfect game. 10-0. All right, Yoshi also gonna be ripping a mushroom here. Pot of Greed. It allows me to draw 2 additional cards from my deck. Or something like that. I don't remember. I haven't seen Yu-Gi-Oh! In a long time. I love the Pot of Greed meme, though. Can anyone tell me what to do with Pot of Greed? Plunder chest! Going to Waluigi, but what does he want it for? Is there a high-value item? Yes, Yoshi has it. That pipe could be a game changer. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is... I like the OG seasons. I haven't seen any of the new ones. I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! The old seasons when I was younger. And I remember them being stupid but funny. Like when that dude attacks the moon. You can't even do that in Yu-Gi-Oh! The card game. But it became such a meme that they made it a card, I think. Where you can attack the moon. I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon on Cartoon Network, alright? Like, whatever, dude. It's not like I'm watching fully subbed anime, some random slice of life anime girl with rainbow hair, whatever. DK, with an early elimination, are we gonna see a rare solo victory here today? DK, poising for a solo victory. We saw it once already today. Lucky Star. I mean, there have been a couple of Lucky Stars tonight. Yoshi's probably been unlucky star. Oh, wait, is that the name of an anime? Not today, DK. The team of 3 wins. Oh, my bad. I thought you were talking about Mario Party. What the heck is reborn as a vending machine? I now wander the dungeon. That minigame's called Hopper Pop. Yoshi building up a pretty good cash stack, but what does he have in the shop? Oh, the dueling sword. This is a good play for Yoshi. Because I think if you're Yoshi at this stage of the game, you only have Econ, use the dueling minigame. Try to win a star and rebuild from there. If you duel Peach and you win, there is only a 3-star gap between you and 4th and 1st place. Is it perfect? No, but there's an opportunity there, even if it's a very slim one, you know? Hey, to be fair, I'm really bad at Pokemon, like the actual game. I don't know type matchups at all. You can get lost in the sauce, though, if you look at Pokemon too much. EVs, IVs, natures. Unless you mean the card game. I don't even know how to play that one. The only thing I use the Pokemon cards for is to put them in my phone case. See? Warp box to Princess Peach. Okay, we've got a lucky minigame coming in. A rare 3-time? No. I don't think we've had it 3 times all season. I'll take the 2x though, not bad. $2x, not bad, and it is puzzle time. Any puzzlers in chat? Can they solve the children's puzzle in the video game? Let's find out. Top left corner piece. Who's gonna lock it in? Wait, these guys are locked. DK and Yoshi are in sync. Slight advantage to DK. Yoshi with the slow rotation. Saves a little extra time there. Oh, slow place. Oh, and look at that. That was so close, but it's gonna go to DK. Consistent gameplay. Oh yeah, I would win. Don't worry, no problem. I am good at puzzles. You guys have seen from my archipelagos. I feel like that should be common knowledge. Yeah, I'll do a turn check. Look, all I'm gonna say is every archipelago puzzle I've entered, I've finished. I've got a 100% success rate, okay? 39 of 40, by the way, and here we go, Yoshi ripping it. This could be what Yoshi needs to get back in the game. But weirdly enough, he's going for DK with 4 stars and 67 coins, rather than Princess Peach with 5. Either way, a win here would be big for him. He's gonna need to win the minigame first. So this minigame is an interesting one because this is normally only seen in the story mode. It's a rare one-on-one game, and all you have to do is get the shells in the hole here. There are 3 levels. First to complete all 3 will win. Yoshi first to finish level 1 here. Yoshi on the final level here, but he doesn't have any of the shells in. Oh, he has all 3. He just has to get the final one. And Yoshi, completing the steal here, wins the duel, and that's going to be yoinking a star from DK. I believe. Yep, there it is. Yoshi now back on the board, up to 1 star again. And is still sitting on over 100 coins. I did delete that off my console because, you know what, it was a bad game and people don't need to be playing that. I can't be out here telling people to buy bad games. That'd be irresponsible of me, okay? Sue me, okay? How many coins does DK have? DK at the current time has 3 stars and 67 coins. Does that help? Plunder chest. Another plunder chest. And it's weird that Yoshi would get the dueling item and use it so fast. Meanwhile, Waluigi has had it the entire game and still has not used it. Hey, well, you know what? Maybe I don't have eyes. Okay? Is that such a bad thing? I feel like that's okay. Maybe I can't see. I can't control that. Wait, here we go. Peach is going for the content play. Warp. Wow, what an absolute crazy warp box. She went back one space. Oh my god, the chance charm was in the shop. The hidden block card was in the shop. That was a loaded shop. She's gonna pick up the the hidden block card. But she's not done yet. And you know what? I actually like the Mega Mushroom pickup here because here's the thing. The Mega Mushroom is insurance. There is a plunder chest in play, and if she only had that one other item, it would be a guaranteed steal. But now it's 50-50. We might have to delete the VOD. You're right. No, we don't actually have to delete the VOD. We just have to delete the part of the VOD where I played that game. If I delete it, no one knows it happened. Oh, and a 2-for-1 for DK. Yoshi, the lone survivor, but the question is he an A, Y, or X? Not an A. Is he in Y? Not in Y, and Yoshi clutches it out there after an early disaster with the 2-for-1 and wins it for the team. I mean, the coin counts are getting up there. I would say Princess Peach was likely the coin star holder and still is, but if there is not a shift in money, I could see it going the direction of Yoshi with the pace that he's on. I think we are also in the final 10 officially now, guys. 40 of 50. So here we go, plunder chest. When he goes for Waluigi, interesting. Wow, what a play. Waluigi still holding on to that dueling game. He really doesn't want to let it go. He really doesn't. Princess Peach with the hidden block card. What do we got? Oh, and she pulls it! Princess Peach with the hidden block card conversion. Up to 6 stars for Peach off of that one. And the star gap is now 3 again. She bought it last turn, converts it to a successful star the turn after. That's how it's done, guys. That's textbook gameplay. Treasure Hunter coming in. A very clear path forward for Peach. Pretty much a direct line there for her. I could see her getting this one pretty much instantly. And I think she knows it. I mean, yeah, perfect pathing there. She's gonna be the first one to grab it for sure. Yoshi also sees his now in sight. Peach with the reconnection. And look at this! Wow, that was a rare move. They met at the box. I don't think I've seen that before. These are some grand finals level strategies. At the moment, it is Peach domination. Peach looking to secure another title. MPSN final stats update as of turn 41. DK 21% chance of winning. Peach at 48% chance of winning. Yoshi at 12% chance. Waluigi at 17% chance. Peach looking very good here as we go into the final leg of the game. Yoshi having a very unlucky match, which you hate to see from the people's champ, the real underdog of the league, getting 2 negative hidden block stars And the dinos are here. What was that? Thanks for the combo. And wow, that is very rough for Yoshi. He gets denied the Boo and the star off of the DK swap. And that was a random swap even, so... DK also gonna go for a hidden block card. That is what we did just see Peach do just 2 turns ago. And look at this. What a nice warp pipe play there. That's gonna deny Yoshi the star, but the swap put him in a perfect position to not only get a hidden block card, he gets a star of his own, and he's still in the game, guys. This is why you can never count out DK. Thank you very much, MPSN, for your service. Salute. You guys have a good night. You've been working hard all season. We appreciate you. Nice work by the MPSN stats department. Princess Peach. Not gonna be able to get this star, actually. Is gonna have to go to the right instead of up towards the star, but honestly, a pretty good play by her, all things considered, even still. Because I think even if she was 1 short, there's no one there to swap it with her, so, you know. Smile check. Any smilers? And while this minigame is going, I just want to take this as an opportunity to reflect the odds in this match. The current payout rate for Princess Peach is the second lowest, or I guess the second highest payout and the second lowest cash investment. She has a payout rate of 1 to 3.93, so nearly 1 to 4 as of now, with at least one person putting in 250k, meaning they would get nearly $1 million off of a Peach victory tonight.
Yeah, Waluigi's the winner.
Hold up, I'll hit the nut button for you, dude. Where is it? I have too many nut buttons. Where's my nut button, dude? Where's the nut button? Oh, here it is. Here you go. Nut. Birdo investigations have informed us that Baby Peach has hacked the game. I'm very curious to have them cite their sources, but wait a minute, DK also flips it on the block start. He's in the game still. He says, not so fast, Peach. You're not gonna be able to run away with this one. This is grand finals, and this is why this guy has been the favorite to win the tournament from the get-go. Week 1, first place. Week 2, second place. All the way through week 6. His playoff match, first place. And here we are in the closing hours of the grand finals match, and he's still pulling out crazy plays like this. DK is not done yet. Nut. DK, of course, the favorite to win. We did a pre-game show preview where we went over the stats, and DK setting a lot of league records this season, as it turns out. Highest average points per game, highest average, well, not a highest average placement, but, you know, he was setting records. And you can check the presentation at the beginning of the stream in the pregame if you want to see for yourself. It was crazy. All right, another 1v3 on our hands. Let's take a look here. Whoa! Waluigi doing a good job of surviving. Yeah, Yoshi was setting the opposite of whatever DK was doing. He was setting league worsts. Like I said, it's a miracle he's even in this match. And I mean, he could still win from a chance time, but I don't know, dude. He's running out of fuel. He's running out of landing room, you know? Let's take a look. 43 of 50 for the current turn order. Yeah, the runway, that one. Yeah, he's running out of runway. He's gonna run off the track and face plant, and then explode. Big Man Bowser dropping in from above. Let's see what we're working with. A simple coin investment. Okay. Not bad. So the 20 coin investment is going to hurt his chances of that coin star. But wait a minute, here we are! A big blunder here. This could be the game decider. Chance time, turn 43 of 50. It's now or never. Now keep in mind, on the chance times, the guy on the left normally pays the person on the right, unless it is a swap. Swap is on the table, though. And it's a 2-star! It's a 2-star investment from Waluigi to Peach! She's done it again! She's completed the heist! +2 to Peach off of Waluigi, and she's up to 8! What a crazy turn of events here in the late game! We have to wait for the ads. Has Peach gotten 4 stars from chance time? I believe yes. I believe yes. Oh, wrong video. Sorry, that's the Taze on Day video. My bad. I unpaused the wrong one. I was trying to unpause the music. Crazy turn of events, man. I believe Princess Peach has gotten about 4 stars from a chance time. Maybe less, I don't know, you can fact check me on that. At least 1 from a hidden block. A couple from a star steal, I think. Announcement from GM Dowfire. Celebration Parade will be hosted on Wednesday, 12/24 at 3 p.m. Mushroom Kingdom time. Wow. Let's see while this is happening, how everyone's looking. I mean, everyone's just distraught. The Yoshi fan club is relying on a chance time at this point. I mean, the Waluigi team did provide a fun fact.
Imagine dating Peach.
Peach looking to I mean, she's like the Tom Brady of Mario Party CPU leagues, dude. If she wins this, it'll be like her 5th title. She was not even a favorite to win. She barely made the postseason. She snuck in on the number 4 slot. The cutoff to skip the LCQ was the top 4, and she got 4th. Emergency stats update. Is this what every CPU league is like? Yes. Mostly. DK, 19.8% chance of winning. Peach, 63.5. Yoshi, 8.2. Waluigi, 8.5% chance of winning. The reason that the mods have added in the We Ate Peach command is largely because what tends to happen, if you are new here to these leagues, is that Princess Peach looks like she is out of a game, and then through a sheer stroke of luck, out of nowhere, she gets hidden block. She gets a chance time swap. And you know what happens? She wins the game. And it has happened multiple times at this point, over multiple years. We're back into the game. It's luck, dude. Speaking of luck, Waluigi winning a nice little payday here. That's going to be 30 coins going in his pocket. And you know what? You gotta wonder, if you are anyone that is not Princess Peach, what do you do at this point in the game? What do you do at this point in the game? How do you win? How do you bring it back? Like, what are your options? Chance time? Unplug her controller? Hope her power goes out? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Waluigi does get a star, but at this point you have to ask yourself, does it even matter? He's not even bothering to go to the shop. You know, it seems like morale might be at an all-time low unless you are a Peach fan. In which case, it's probably the opposite. A little bit of good luck, though. Peach blundering the roll. Could have gone up to 9 stars there. Is 1 short, and she's going to be pushed away from the star off that. But more importantly, it pushes her onto the pathway of a chance time space. All right, here we go. We've got ourselves another 2v2 on our hands. It is going to be the combo of DK Yoshi again on the right-hand side and Peach and Waluigi on the left. We've had very close matches on this tonight. I think the advantage has been notoriously the blue team today on this minigame. Whoever's on the blue team has a bit of a higher win rate. DK and Yoshi gonna hit that burner. And actually, weirdly enough, the pink team with a nice dodge here. Is it enough for them to win? They've got more momentum. And I don't know who wins it. And they do. Wow, what a steal. By dodging that first burner, they had enough speed to come in and steal away the win on the minigame from DK and Yoshi there. By inches. And Peach up to 8 stars, 137 coins off of that 2-star donation from the chance time. The only way Princess Peach can lose her stars is if there is a swap on a chance time. She might, I mean, there is a world where she gives away 2 to like DK and then he goes up into the lead and she has 6 and he has 7 rather than her having 8 and him having 5. But I don't know if that's realistic. I think realistically the best way for anyone to win that's not Peach is through a swap. Because even if she gives away 2 to DK, she's got bonus star advantage. I think she has the coin star. She might have the minigame even, and I don't think DK has anything at this point in time. I could be wrong on that. I'm not entirely sure, but we're gonna see. Now, you do have to... we gotta be a little bit fair to Yoshi, because here's the thing about Yoshi. He actually did have stars. And they got stolen from him from Zitars that he got from hidden blocks. Princess Peach has pretty much only gone up in star count. He's only gone down from the same exact random event. He also did get a star stolen from him for no reason. Like, literally, Boo asked who to steal from, and the guy chose anyone, and it picked Yoshi, who was not in first. Oh, we got an extra hop there. Add that to the parlay +1. +2 maybe even. Oh. Still anyone's game. We're gonna see how this plays out. DK stuck on the pipe! Door stuck! He does make the jump eventually. But I think it's gonna be too late. A win for the red team for sure. Oh, I missed! Yoshi. Whoa, look at Yoshi. He's doing flips on him. I've never seen that before. He might always do that, and I just never have noticed, but that was crazy. Turn check, 45 of 50. We are going into the final 5 after this. We will get the late game boost. One of them is way more chance time spaces, so if you are anyone that's not a Peach fan, you better be open for that. Okay, Yoshi does get the hidden block card, but so far, the hidden blocks have only betrayed Yoshi and not helped him. He is gonna get a star here, but again, does it matter? You gotta wonder. Oh, he wants hidden block card. And he gets it! Yoshi's streak of bad luck continues as DK, with a quick little yoink off of that plunder chest. But wait a minute, here we go, the duel comes out. And this is interesting. Waluigi has been holding this item the entire game. He finally pulls it out to duel Peach. Now, if he wins, it will be huge for DK specifically. So if you're a DK fan, you need to temporarily be a Waluigi fan on this duel. Now, this is one of the most frustrating minigames that you can get. The way this minigame works is you have to try to get a set of 3 of the same instrument. But if you ever get a boo, it shuffles your entire hand. It sucks. If you're wondering what's at stake, that's what's at stake. You're trying to get 3 of the same exact instrument here. And again, the boo shuffler, which means the already claimed ones are reflipped over, meaning they're accessible again. Because once one is turned over, it cannot be claimed anymore. Smart move there to get rid of the violin, since you know that 2 are already in play, and here we are. He could win here if he pulls a trumpet. Wait, they both need a trumpet! It's the piano. Peach now looking for it as well. I think there might be 5 in play. Doesn't get it. Both still trying to get the trumpet. There's still one more out there. Running low on options. No flute. And it goes to Peach! Peach winning the duel. That's gonna be plus 50 coins to her off of that one. And her econ is going even higher through the roof in the late game here. How much does she gonna be sitting on after that one? Look at that. 8 stars, 190 coins. And because of the duel, now he does not have the money to steal a star either. It could have been a win where he steals a star from Peach and beats her in a duel both. But instead, she walks away with his money. And all he can get is a few coins. He will be able to still get a star this turn, believe it or not. But not in the way that he was hoping for. Here we go, Princess Peach now, with 167 coins to her name after that turn. Okay, so we have one minigame. It's gonna then do the final 5 turns. Now, let me talk about this a little bit, because it's different in this version of Mario Party 4 Deluxe. So, first of all, the 2x multiplier being on the pool of available, like, shuffled up things you can get, that is removed, and it's there by default. And it's actually 3x. So, reds and blues are now 9, so plus 9, minus 9. And there are new events that you can get in the final 5 turns, okay? No egg eating in chat. Don't do that. Cut it out. All right, advantage right now to DK. We've got Waluigi, Yoshi not too far behind into the final section. But it's all about this stamina management. Peach starting to surge here. But DK holds on just enough to make it happen. Okay, so taking a look at the standings, we're gonna get it here. But more importantly, we're gonna see if anyone wins the lottery. Waluigi, still with an active card. One to go here. Oh, and he's done it! A nice little karma hit here for Waluigi. Wins the lotto ticket, which means he's gonna get himself a free star for his efforts. Waluigi hitting the 1 in 64 chance there to make that one happen. Well played to Waluigi. Still a 4-star gap between him and Peach, but maybe there's a chance. Here we go. Big final 5-turn roulette wheel. What's it gonna be? And it is a 50-coin present for Yoshi. Probably not what he was hoping for here. At this point in the game, 50 coins. Basically, inconsequential. Going to the scratch-off ticket. Let's see, what's it gonna be? It's gonna be a nothing. A whole lot of nothing. Try again, get him out of here. Yoshi really just kind of striking out all night tonight. Can't get a break. He's getting his items stolen. He's getting negative stars. But wait a minute. He gets himself a 2x star card. Speaking of hidden blocks, though, DK. Using that card from earlier. And there it is, DK! Still in the game! Converts off the hidden block card. But the question is, what does he do in 5 turns to catch up to Peach? She is so far ahead. There was a chance time potential. Did not happen there. Oh, but he pulls a lamp. No funding, though. That's the problem. Princess Peach. Gonna hit an item space. We are on full odds. Okay. Pretty non-consequential item, all things considered. I mean, it is a mountain to climb for sure if you are DK, or Yoshi, or Waluigi. I do think it is for sure a chance time angle, but there is a very small window where DK somehow gets to 7 stars, and he gets 2 bonuses, and he beats Peach. I don't know, though, because she has so much money and has a guaranteed coin star as a result of having so much money. It's very difficult to overcome that, I think. Wacky Watch has been available all night. Yeah, we have not seen it, though. Nine to 8, the scoreline. Oh, very close minigame, believe it or not. 9 to 10 now. Ten to 11. Wow, close game there. Close game. They have been on expert tonight. 8-6-4-2. An even split. What are the pregame odds for a newcomer? DK was the #1 seed. Peach was the #4 seed. Those were the only two people to come in from the upper bracket. Yoshi was the #8 seed. He was last place in the league. He has no reason to be here. So definitely the worst odds to win. And Waluigi has been slightly above average all season. He's just been kind of middle of the road. Like, good enough, but not anything crazy. Yoshi, though, using the double star card. And, you know, with a couple of star steals, it's looking doable. See, the only way that I think this one actually works is that, like, the only way anyone else wins this is if they all go to Boo and steal from Peach. And I'm not saying they need to gang up on her, but, like, realistically, with the amount of money she has and the bonus star that she likely has locked in, mathematically, without a star steal, at least one, preferably two, there is not a world where anyone else can win. Ooh, wait a minute. DK with the rare 55 item combo. Hidden block. Wait a minute. No star, but it does mean he can use the lamp now. Nice moves for Waluigi. She's got to be careful. Making a mega like that might actually help him. He can work his way over to the Boo. It seems like the game plan is a mad dash to the Boo space. They kind of have to try to get there. It's the only way that I see this going any other way. Parasailing, our next one. All right, here we go. Coin minigame coming in. Final 5 turns. Every turn matters a lot. $11 to 10, $12 to 10, $13 to 11, $13 to 12. Neck and neck. The coins here, though, don't really matter at this point. But with a high enough score, Peach could crest the 200 mark, which would be insane. But it actually would be very helpful for anyone who makes it to Boo. Do we see a rare 30 bomb? Holy, it's a 30 bomb for the red team. A 31 bomb. Wow, double 30 bombs is nuts. Holy crap, man. Look at how much she has. 201, 104, 138, 75. These guys are juiced, man. I mean, it's looking like the scoreline of a grand finals game, for sure. I'll say that much. I'll say that much. Try again. Is there a world Yoshi makes it to the Boo? He's got mega pace. Wait, this is interesting. DK is going towards the star. Yoshi is going towards the Boo. We could see a seal on our hands. He's gonna golden shroom it. Let's do another turn check. 48 to 50. DK needs to roll low here. He might have overshot it. The Peach mini mega hammer actually paying off well. Nice play there by Peach to deny DK the star. Yoshi now also does have an orb. Now, I don't want to say that we are seeing a surge of everyone else, but the game is getting a little more close than you would expect it to be based on what we've seen tonight. As the genie returns for maybe our last time tonight. The Mushroom Genie is out a final time. The Genie haters maybe having their final post of the season. Down with the Genie. We hate the Genie. I see it. And he's gonna get himself a star. There you have it. I got it. The next star is over here. $555 in favor of Waluigi. You know, it wasn't that long ago. Peach was at the 666. Oh, and she's gonna go for the item swap. She wants to get that boot protection, but it's randomized. She doesn't get it. So she was gonna use the swap card there to randomly swap with Waluigi to protect herself. A smart move by her, honestly, all things considered, but she doesn't get the item that she wants here, meaning that she is still going to be exposed for a possible Star Steal scenario. Paratrooper Plunge. Lucky minigame. I think we get a 2x on a coin minigame, though, so huge, another huge cash influx. Let's see how much money is going to be going in pocket here. Four, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4. And that's going to be Peach going down early, meaning no more additional money will be collected by her. 9, 12, 10 for the rundown. Yoshi does pick up a double there as DK gets taken out. The big winners here. DK, Waluigi. Yoshi will take it as well. Peach falling a little short here. And we only have about one more turn to go on this one before we wrap this bad boy up. It's looking like the Peach show tonight. But maybe there's still a chance. Yoshi brings out the golden mushroom. 2 turns. And is this where it begins? There it is. Steal onto Peach. Yoshi moving out of last. I mean, look, that's a bit of a glow-up situation compared to where he was at just a bit ago. He was very far in last, and somehow he's not even there anymore. But that means it's time for a duel, and he can duel for a star. Wait, this is crazy. He's going for the duel. I didn't think it works like that in the final five, but it does. Yoshi with an opportunity to go up to 6 if he wins the duel minigame. This is an interesting one. This one is all about score. You have to hit the little Bowser heads when they pop up. They pop up in a few different places. There are some techniques you can use here, like the 2-for-1. Yoshi almost getting it there in the bottom right. Oh, and there you see a DK getting the 2-for-1. Highest score at the end of this will get the victory, and Yoshi clipping into DK there, doing some type of manipulation strat. Not entirely sure. Oh, but look at that. A double hit on the big Bowser heads are worth more points, which is going to give DK an advantage. Still a lot of game to play. 12-13. Yoshi kind of AFK, not really sure what he's waiting for. Wait, but actually answering back. This is a close match. Oh, but interesting choice there. Yoshi chooses to do nothing for the last, like, 10 seconds. Oh, but he gets the Bowser head. And oh, there it is. DK barely wins that one by a score of 23-24. Definitely very winnable for Yoshi, but I think the late game nerves may be getting to him a little bit on that. He is going to be, not getting a star there. I mean, he won't lose his. But he's gonna be down in money after that. DK uses the warp box. I respect the content play here. It is possible that DK could get the coin star. With the amount of money that he has and the amount of money that Peach has, if the right minigames come up, like a battle minigame or something, and he wins, he could get it. With this amount of money. But that is probably the only way. Oh, and he goes back. Wait, what turn are we on? Oh, it's time for a duel! This time it's gonna be Waluigi going for the star off of Yoshi. Alright, this is literally a spot the difference level. All you have to do is spot the difference. That's all you have to do. Find the different one. You see that one on the right that's a full ring and everything else is a half circle? It's easy. Yoshi locks it in. Waluigi sees it. No pointy end there. 1-1 now. 1-1. Both of them blundering it here on the double arrow. Waluigi finally identifies that they're on the left. Up to 2-1. Match point in favor of Waluigi. Yoshi gonna have to dig deep here. Oh, we have an ad. We have to wait on the ad. Adge. Oh, sorry. Did that again. I keep clicking on the wrong tab. I thought we would get through the remainder of the game with no more ads, but I guess it's the final one. And we are live. Banger, dude! By the way, I do want to say again, thank you to anyone who reached out to me in regards to the social post that I made. I do plan to get back to the messages that people sent. The only reason I haven't is that it's been a little bit of a mess lately with my travel plans in flux. My travel plans are in flux, and I've been busy streaming. We've been hitting... In the last 3 days, I've streamed, like, more hours than I expected to. I don't know when I stream after today, because I literally don't even know when I'm going on vacation. If I'm even going on vacation. I have to call tomorrow and see if my family is sick or not, and then choose whether or not I want to pay an extra $500 to get a plane ticket to fly out there on the 23rd of December. Or just go in January and say screw it. So... I don't know. I don't know. The merch has been cozy. Thank you. I hope you've been liking it. I honestly have been wearing these hoodies like every day. I love these. And the zip up hoodie by the same company, they're great. I love them. The quality is fantastic. I don't know what you got, but hopefully you've been liking it. I don't know if I would call Pokemon music furry music. I mean, I can see it, I guess. But it's a bit of a stretch. Wait, this is not the Howling one, is it? I thought this was like a gym leader battle. Or like, this is the rival. This is the bead fight. You're thinking of this one. Hold up. You're thinking of this song. This is the one with the dogs. With the slap bass. This is a different song. This song's fine. I like the other one more, though. Oh, the ads are done? Okay, that's good. Let's close it out. Close it out. Let's make it happen. Yoshi looking to try to save this one. Does he get it? He does. Anyone's game here. 2-2. Oh, and Yoshi pulls it off. A mega choke there by Waluigi. Now, the thing that ends up happening as a result of this is that Yoshi does not get a star, even though that might be what you think. I believe Waluigi paid 50 coins, so Yoshi will just get the money back that he lost from the other duel. And he gets his star back, so... it's almost as if the transfer of money just went over to Waluigi, but Peach. Eyes on her here. Using the coin block here, that's a smart play, so that's gonna boost her income. It's gonna make it harder for anyone to catch her with the coin star, especially on turn 49 of 50. And she's got one more chance to visit the shop for a last turn banger. And she pulls a lamp on the last turn! What? One more sighting of the genie! Plus, happening as well. We could see a... I mean, could this be a 10-star game from her? I don't know. It's tough to say. DK does have a swap card, and he goes first in turn priority. It's a 1 in 3 chance he prevents it from... for her from using it. But will he, though? That's the question. Right now, neck and neck. Slight advantage to the pink team. Blue team pulling it back here. But we saw this earlier. The blue team was ahead early. They got caught on the burner. The pink team was able to accelerate past it, but no. They both are going to get clipped. Advantage to the blue team.
Finish.
Blue team will walk away with the victory.
Yeah.
Yoshi and Waluigi will be taking that one. One more turn to go, guys, before we wrap up the grand finals officially here and call it a day. They are playing on Expert today. Final turn, Yoshi ripping the orb, and it was boring. It was just a normal mushroom. I mean, he could theoretically hit a chance time still from this, maybe. It's gonna be tough. Does he get it? And he actually would have gotten the chance time if he didn't mega mushroom there. He needed a 3, rolled a 3, and then a 5 afterwards. Here we go, swap card play. Needs the Peach swap. Does he get it? And he doesn't! Which means Peach is gonna be uncontested on the final turn. Lamp play. DK will be able to still get a star of his own, so there will not be a 2-star gap. So, you know, it's not the end of the world, but ideally, he would have preferred if she couldn't use that lamp. $7 stars, 171 coins. Imagine seeing that and being in second. The lamp takes you instantly to the star. Wait, but wait a minute. This is a rare opportunity. If he duels Yoshi for a star and wins, Yoshi might be able to help foil the Peach victory. They have to create an under the table deal here where DK wins. If he wins, he can take a star from Yoshi. And maybe there's a chance. I don't know. I'll play more Kirby Air Ride sometime in the future. DK stuck on a table, door stuck! Yoshi currently winning by over 2 points here. Over 3 points. DK getting stuck on the table is gonna make him lose a lot of time, but he's bringing it back a little bit. Lower left spawn. 14 to 15. He's gonna need a double here. He does get the double. He's closing the gap a little bit. The big Bowser heads are big value, but he's too late to react. The damage might be done here. Yoshi, I think, secures the win on this. And Yoshi will get a win. That does not mean DK will lose a star, but it does mean he doesn't gain one. And he will be out 50 coins for his efforts off of that one. So Yoshi, gonna be a little bit richer after that. Now this is interesting. Waluigi using the Super Mini Mushroom to maybe play the mini game, which it will let him play on the last turn for some reason, even though he won't be able to use the item and waste everyone's time. But also will make him skip chance time. Thank you for wasting our time, Waluigi. For some reason, they let you play that mini game, even though they won't let you go to the item shop or get an item from an item space. But you can play that mini game for who knows what reason. And here we go, Peach with the lamp. The final genie of the season. Last turn, last person to take their turn. Turn 50, final game. Goodbye, Genie. Salute to the Genie. Nice service you've done for us this season, man. Great work out there. We'll see you next time. He'll be back. Win? Who knows? But he served a real purpose this season. And his efforts are appreciated. Okay. Princess Peach going up to 8 off of that. Does she hit the chance time randomly? It could happen. No, wow, actually that trap saved her. I don't know if it would have been chance time. I don't think it would have, but that trap basically removes her movement, makes her land on the item turn, or the item space, so nothing happens, so. A 3x final turn for the fans. Why not? Send it off. Money belts. Huge final minigame, by the way, to get on a 3x. She could get in upwards of 70 coins from this. Princess Peach looking to win big. Princess Peach up to 11. Whoa! It's gonna get caught. Cut back a little bit. 13, 15. Reminder, you have to multiply these numbers by 3 to get the real value. 66 coins going to Peach, 36 to everyone else. Big econ. Injection. She's doing the whoop, like the injection. She's like hitting the syringe. Injecting the money. Look at that, 248. 8 stars. Let's see it. I mean, look, I think it's basically cooked, right? It's all said and done. The question of the matter is not who won, but by how much. Look at those coin amounts, man. Princess Peach with the minigame star. If she pulls another one, we are going to see a 10-star drop from her. Princess Peach up to 10 stars. But can she complete the sweep here? Double-digit game. No, it goes to the Oshman. And the winner of the Fall 2025 Mario Party 4 Deluxe first ever CPU League after an underwhelming first half of the season goes to Princess Peach, completing her 4th, 5th, I don't know how many title victory that we have seen over the years we've been doing this league. She's done it again. You write her off, you think she's not gonna be a factor. She comes in, the number 4 seed. She can't do anything. She can't make it happen. But what does she do? She says, watch me. She steps up to the plate when it matters most. and she drops a 10-star game in grand finals. You can't do better than that. The highest scoring game that we have had the entire season, including the game with the star handicap, goes to Princess Peach, who started this game with 0, by the way. She got 10 stars herself over the course of the game. Absolutely insane performance. Very dominant stuff coming out of her. And congratulations to Peaches for completing another title run. It wasn't looking likely, but they pulled it off. Let me go ahead and send the payout right now. Princess Peach. Winning big. $3.5 million shut in the pot. Why did I say it like that? The pot. The pot. Makes it happen. Good stuff. GG's to Princess Peach. And honestly, a pretty good season. Guys, I do want to say, this is actually serious for a minute. I have got to give a big shout out to the person who made this mod, WolfGC64. If you have not played Mario Party 4 Deluxe, you should try it out. This guy has reimagined what Mario Party 4 the game is with this new reworked item system and the QOL that this guy put into the game. It's clear he cares a lot about it. He even reworked the AI to use the new items, which is why we can do this in the first place. So, you know, check him out. His name is WolfGC64. I believe we have a command for it. MP4DX. Wait, what is it? MP4D. There it is. There's a link. You can find it on Game Banana if you want to try it out. He's a cool dude. He joined the Discord even, and he was like very supportive of the whole thing. So I didn't expect the guy who made the mod to actually find my stupid thing that I've been running the past couple of weeks and like tune in, but you know, it's cool that he was along for it. And adding in the dual mode, I do want to say also is genius. It might have seemed flawless from watching it there, but the dual mode that he implemented is insane, because normally Mario Party 4 does not have one-on-one games. The only place that one-on-ones exist is in the story mode. And so what he's done is he's allowed a way to use the dual system from other games, and then the story mode only mini games as the 1v1 that you can play on to create an actual fully functioning duel system. It's like 5-head stuff, because that should not be possible to do. Like, if those minigames weren't there, there would not be any minigames for you to do the duels on. So he did some crazy stuff to make it work. And I mean, it works great. Check it out. Yeah, anyways, guys, on that note, I am going to be out of here. To give you a little update on everything, well, first of all, if you reached out to me, again, like I said, from socials, in regards to the post that I made on Blue Sky or Twitter, the whole coming out thing, I appreciate it. It's been overwhelmingly positive. It's been a lot of emotions to process, but I appreciate that. In terms of the holiday stuff, my family's currently sick, okay? I don't know if I'm flying out on the 23rd. I don't know if I'm missing the Christmas break at all. I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay? But I think at the very least, I'll be off stream for a little bit. I'll be not streaming for like probably like at least a day, maybe 2. If I end up not leaving, maybe if I get bored over the holidays, I'll stream something. I do want to stream again before the end of the year. Another eShop stream probably, because we did hit the sub goal for that. So I don't know what is going to happen for me in the next week. We'll see. But that's all I got for today, guys. Okay. Check out the YouTube. In the meantime, we uploaded 2 videos in the past couple of weeks. Give them a look if you want. And I'm out of here. So I will be back in the future. Check the schedule website for updates. Let's raid my friend Bird today. Because speaking of Archipelago, he's doing one. We'll give him a raid. If I end up not traveling, I'm gonna go see family in January, so I will see them. Don't worry about that. I'm not gonna miss the holiday. We might just postpone it a couple of weeks, worst case, you know? Okay. All right. Thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna go off that screen so I don't have to hear that 5-second music loop anymore. Thank you. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good night. And since I might not stream before the holidays, hopefully you guys, if you're doing anything for Christmas, have a nice Christmas. I'll see you all soon next time. Okay. Bye.